All right, hello everyone, and welcome back to some more creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion. If you caught our previous video, and if you haven't, I don't know, you're probably not missing out on too much.
What do you mean?
I think this is one of those games where you can well, at least the first hour is like only slightly missable, but then after that it probably starts getting a little off the rails. We will see.
Do I need to give a little recap?
Yeah, sure. You might as well give a short recap.
Okay. Well, our protagonist is JJ. What was his last name again? Okay.
We can check, can't we?
I don't know. So his name is JJ, and he's a special agent of...
It's effectively a parody Chris Redfield. I'm just dropping the game music a little bit more. There we go. But yeah, he's a parody Chris Redfield, but he was pulled into the ATS, which is the... Oh, shoot. What did the ATS stand for?
Well, so the thing is, they're supposed to stop super scientists. You know, the crazed individuals that are using technology and... I mean, in this particular case, it's cloning. Because this... Actually, the bartender on the right is a clone. Sure, I'm trying to remember his name too. It starts with an H.
Hunkin Dockwright III.
Hunkin.
I remember
yeah.
Hunkins. I just don't remember JJ's last name.
Well, and JJ doesn't even remember his middle name.
Yeah.
Because it's revealed by Hunkin to JJ that they are in fact in a game.
Yep. But so JJ was sent to this mansion to investigate for super science and to see if there's dinosaurs. And then Hunkin more or less tells him, hey, we're in a video game. You need to go find all the bugs.
You still spike my mic. Stop it.
I can't. I am just naturally loud.
You're too loud.
There's no escaping my booming voice. Anyway, so what did we do last time? I think last time we just fought our evil clone. And then unlocked, I guess, some further section of the mansion. We might as well just get rolling.
There was a Brontosaurus. Or
yeah.
Brachiosaur, I should say. And then there was the hallway full of knights.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember, how did we get past this?
Octoropteryx?
Well, let's find out. You recap, and then there were dinos. It's true.
Dinosaurs.
Okay.
Of course. Yes, and that is the reason why we have made characters that resemble dinosaurs.
Yeah, I mean,
I do not know what Wander is supposed to be, but I am supposed to be it's a type of hadrosaur, but I'm gonna try to pronounce the name. Is it a Parasaurolophilus? Parasaurolophilus?
Lolafel.
I really like
the
duck-billed dinosaurs, and they just have such beautiful crests. There's so many of them.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out how do we get to the next section. Because the last time...
Oh, for the greenhouse.
But we went here.
Yes. Like, right, they're doing plant dinosaur mutants. And so you fought the moss-covered ankylosaur, right?
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's been a couple of days since we last played this, and so my like full semblance, or my full sense of like where to go is a little scuffed. I know we need to get past here or not. Oh, maybe it's actually one of those where we're supposed to go back to one of the other options, but it's unlocked some things. Because I think this is not correct.
I mean, weren't there numerous possible outcomes with the dark JJ?
Yeah, you're right.
Or evil JJ?
I wonder if there's a way. Oh, JJ Hardwell.
Hardwell, there we go.
I wonder if we can, like, stop exploring. Oh, good. We can just go back. Because I think we've... Oh, I see. We can just warp to this bar. But yeah, let's see if we can go... Where am I? Okay, let's see.
Wait, there's a painted door? I don't remember this.
I think the painted door, this is the one with the paintings in it.
Oh.
And then we nope. Yeah, okay. I think that's it. Okay, I think we do nope. We go somewhere else. There we go. So that's how we get up here. And then, yeah, we can warp down to this bar. That's why I was confused. All right, so here's evil JJ. And he's after the weird time hourglass.
Stars, okay. Yep, so this is the cloaked figure.
Let's see. Did I do freeze?
Freeze was the one that gave you
cop.
a little bit more law enforcement.
So let's do hands off that hourglass. Ignoring
You, the figure steps forward. The pedestal's light lifts the shadows from his face.
Hey, JJ. You look like me. Why are your eyes glowing red? What do you think? I'm losing my mind. Are you? The developers named me Evil JJ and made me hunt you down whenever you got too stressed. It was supposed to be a systemic challenge, a reason to keep your stress low, but they took that feature out right after the demo, so I'm kind of just here, left in my own hands. Should I be worried? Look, I'm not proud of what I did. I did it because I had to, but I'm not evil. Now I'm free. I have no interest in fighting you. Just need to reach the lower game functions and make things right.
You're not nearly being sinister enough for this.
Well, it's because we already did this dialogue, so I'm going a little fast.
Yeah.
So what's with the hourglass? The cosmic hourglass? I'm borrowing it. Sounds perfectly reasonable. Wait, really? You don't even want to know what it does? Well, should I? Never mind. Trade progressed.
He clutches
bad ideas.
He clutches the hourglass in his fist and sprints further into the manor before vanishing in a shower of pixels.
Well, that wasn't it.
Bartender Hunkin twists a stained rag around a misted glass.
Do you see what I'm reduced to? The hue on these rags would have been at least 20% brighter a month ago. Why didn't you tell me there's an evil version of me wandering around? Ah, you met Evil JJ. Don't worry about him. Don't worry. He's just another NPC trying to mess with the project while the developers are seemingly MIA. We're lucky, and next time he's poking around the code he doesn't understand, he'll fry himself. Focus on the bug hunt, and you'll be fine. Aren't you a bad guy? Who are you to say someone's bad or good? Retired bad guy. I told you I've given up on that super science mumbo jumbo. I just want to mix cocktails in peace by putting guns in glass bottles. But I can't do that if the liquid shaders keep breaking. The less time you waste dealing with nuisances like Evil JJ, the better. Fine. Good lad. Now grab what you need and go find those bugs. Hey, before I go back out there, is there anything else you forgot to mention? No, not really. Just a place called Clown Alley. We don't go there anymore. But now you do. Ah, so now we have access to Clown Alley. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was the upper branch that we didn't have. Well, where do we want to go? Deeper into the mansion? Clown Alley. We have 2 branches.
I wouldn't mind going deeper. We've seen Clown Alley before. However, current audience probably has not.
Well, that's fun. You can actually see, if I go back to chapter 2, all the things that we're potentially missing. So we're missing 3 match 3s, 8 traits, 1 mutagen, 3 items, and 2 more ends of branches.
And the traits tend to be upgraded after specific dialogue choices.
Yeah.
Or actions.
So I think maybe we come back in a little bit. Yeah, I did do the clowns in the demo, so we'll leave the clowns for a bit. Let's go down this direction. You look at... Oh, this is you.
Look at Hunkin. He raises an eyebrow at you.
Are you ready for this? You say that like this is gonna hurt. Hurt? No. No, not a chance.
Hunkin snaps his fingers twice, and you immediately feel the fluid in your eyeballs begin to vibrate. You taste blood in your mouth. Circuits?
1 second. I totally forgot to post that. There we go.
What do you mean?
I'm putting a stream announcement up on Blue Sky. I always forget to do them, but I figured I might as well here.
Whatever it is, the taste is metallic and painful.
You lied. I lied.
Hunkin fades with the rest of the world as you tumble through a strange assortment of code and images until you finally land on solid ground. Ooh.
In the attic.
Blinking away the glitch that brought you here, find yourself in a dusty crawl space. A mildew-tinged breeze wafts from the candlelit arena ahead. Wait. Arena?
Huh.
I think there's music here, but I can't hear it.
It's very faint. I can raise the overall game volume a bit. Ooh. Health above 30, enter the void. We can't do that, though.
Something flashes in your periphery. A blue and pink hole in the world? Gently brushing the neon void with a fingertip, an electric current ripples up your arm before you jerk your head back. Or hand back, not your head, your hand. Whatever is on the other side, Getting there would hurt.
Continue to the final boss. Trait progressed. Coward.
You know who does... Oh, you know who goes poking their hand to holes in the fabric of the universe? Not you. Unwilling to risk your digital body in this particular venture, you keep moving.
Yeah, we gotta go get more mutagens so I can level up.
Crouching to step through the passageway, you find the boss arena cold. Still smelling of decay despite a gaping hole in the ceiling, exposing the scene to the night air. Your eyes take a moment to adjust. As they do, you make out a cluster of robed figures, turning to face you in unison. Wait, they're a bunch of hunkin' cultists.
Yep. Thanga, Iqbal, Suden, Shaval, Benedtha, Shmenezik. What? Did you not read any of the collectible pages hidden around the mansion?
I haven't seen any collectible pages yet.
I, didn't get the chance. Then our backstory won't make much sense. Cult of Hunkins. The boss fight isn't balanced. Get out of there.
Yeah. Run for it. We're gonna need to
Warp
find
geometry,
pages.
rapid vibration, incantation. Okay, jump into walls. It's got to be the right spot. Oh, we are glitching out of the room. I got it.
Ah, to escape.
Let's see. So mostly we want to just kind of well, let's take a look. 7 damage, stress by 15. Destroys a bunch of symbols. Okay, so we're gonna need green and red. If any of them are convenient. Mostly we want computer screens.
Do we have to distract the cult, then jump into the walls, or just jump into the walls?
No, I think oh, yeah, what does this do? Destroys all book symbols. Ooh, that's actually that's useful. I guess I'm just gonna do that for now.
Did you just say, never mind.
What did I say?
Never mind. It was just something I did not anticipate.
I have no idea what I said now.
You said big with an ly at the end.
Huh.
Which, it's, what?
Yeah, I don't.
No.
I didn't even like mentally comprehend what I said there. Yeah, I have this one red, but I can't bring it up more. We have a bunch of bandages, and I do have the Cosmic Hourglass if I absolutely need to.
The power of unknown origin, because you took a different version of the Cosmic Hourglass.
Yeah, well, that's a prior iteration that I can now just buy freely whenever I'm in the store. The main problem is I'm looking for anything that would give me like a 4, and there's not a whole lot of good options. So I guess I'm just going to do that, slap that down, we'll just see what happens. Yeah, the problem is they're going to get... You know, books are not bad, actually.
Could you look at all those oranges there?
Yeah, I was actually thinking about it, that the most kind of sort of dangerous thing that he can throw at me is actually not books, it's oranges, because stress is annoying. Okay, does use up a turn. So I'm going to wait on those, because we have no, like, rush.
So you have no reds or... Well, no, you
Actually,
do have the reds and the greens.
I have
It's
no
the
blues.
Blue. Yep.
I'm just going to distract cults, because if we get rid of all of the books, nah.
No, that still helps them. They can do warp geometry.
Yeah, warp geometry isn't that bad. It just zaps a bunch of block symbols.
Oh, but they could do hunkantation. So you might want to... Can you leave? Jump into the walls or what?
It's only a 25% progress. See how it says they don't have a health bar?
Oh, it's progress bar.
So I need to do that exactly 4 times. So I need 24 screens. I'm not prioritizing it because it doesn't matter.
Okay.
So I'm trying to look into other things that I could do that for a bit of a combo. Let's see. It's like a bunch of reds, but no easy or good way of using them.
Yeah, because even if you place them there, the blues would drop, but that blue would still be above that green, and...
Yeah. I'm gonna do that for now.
Yeah, that's
I'm gonna see if I
what was
can prep
referring
to drop the orange on the orange.
Yeah, that one will drop the orange down.
Yeah.
Get a larger combo.
Okay, raises stress by a bit, but luckily we boosted my maximum stress. I don't see any high tier ones. I'm gonna do that. Yeah, unfortunately he gets all the combos. I do not. I just get Scrub Lord. It doesn't seem like he's particularly interested in using a lot of his abilities. What's up?
I'm just wondering if it would be beneficial to go over some of the options and figure out, yeah, if the blocks do drop, are they going to be able to begin a third or a fourth?
That's kind of what I'm trying to look for. But it's tricky. There's a lot of options. There we go. To some degree, you also can't fully plan on any of these things. You kind of just have to set up.
So you're taking a deep breath.
Yeah. Oh, he's warping geometry. Yes, he has a bunch of stuff
He's not. I think
ready to go. He's just not using them.
But he probably will and decimate you if you aren't careful.
Yeah, which is why I'm kind of trying to prep so I have enough like greens and reds and stuff. But yeah, he seems kind of just distracted, which is nice. Like, I don't think I've ever run into a boss fight more disinterested
I think he wants to bide his time until he can activate enough of those moves to annihilate you in one turn.
Maybe. Damn. If I could drop that, but yeah, I have no way of doing it.
Unless those particular moves that he can only activate one per turn.
No, well, yeah, one per turn. But like,
no, but for each.
I guess he could only do
no, that
one
uses
rapid.
Up turn.
You could just do 3 warp geometries. I guess that's why he's not doing it. There's not really much of a reason. Well,
maybe it's also because you haven't actually achieved any progress on him.
could be.
Maybe he acts a little bit more aggressive if you have progress on him. Sometimes they take that into account in games like this.
Leave that for now. He might do another hunkentation, but... Let's see. I'm seeing a lot of computer screens, which we do need. Well, oddly enough, he's not doing much for rapid vibration, so I don't need to worry about my health.
Uh-oh.
No, it's just...
Bugged objects fly over the place. Okay, so that's the
warp
3x3
geometry.
block. Yep.
Yeah. I think since we have just a little bit of this like, safe zone, I might as well just keep goofing with, whatever pieces it gives me. Because this also reduces my stress every time I get one of those combos. Yeah.
Combo times 4. Good job.
Maybe there's a turn limit situation. I don't think there's one. Like, I think I'm just free to do kind of whatever. I keep really hoping that distracting them... Oh, now he
There's
hits me.
7 damage.
Yeah, I keep hoping when I delete all the books,
computer screen, you'd be able to
make a
finish
bunch of
this after a
combos.
few turns, right?
It's true. Yeah, there's just no computer screen combos right now.
Well, now there can be. Can you move blocks up? Oh, no. Well, yeah, that one can
There
be
we
moved
go.
down. or
So
up.
now we can just start jumping into walls.
But it does use up your turn.
That's okay. I can just do it 4 times in a row. And he's just going to be distractible.
So he
Okay.
is doing some damage.
Yeah, I do want a first aid. Let's see. If there's any good combos, I'll go for it, but I think we just get out of here. Yeah, we're good.
Here we go.
Cult of Hunkins, complete.
The clothes.
I guess so.
Escaping the encounter, you pass through a wall. The sound of chanting Hunkins replaced by the smell of rotting meat. You cover your nose and look around the room to find a series of laundry machines packed with filthy clothes.
Is this still in the mansion?
At the far end of the room, you can see a wall of jail cells. A man is sitting in the corner of the furthest cell, hanging his head next to a bowl of soup. And in front of him, there's a dinosaur with a handgun, blinking heavily. Look at that little guy.
Use your authoritative voice. He's cute.
I think it's one of those tiny ones that are
Yep.
supposed to like, steal eggs and they travel in larger packs, but it's so tiny.
Use your authoritative voice. Freeze!
They progress
You
for law
free-
enforcer.
Wait.
Ah, complete.
I'm a law enforcement. You can be the small dinosaur.
You freeze. I've got the gun.
Oh God, you talk.
Yes.
I mean, drop your weapon, please.
Or I could shoot you. And I could make sure I'm real close when I do it, so it hurts.
Quick as lightning, the guard scurries up to you, ready to strike.
Guard duty. Look out, he's got a gun. Guard Dino Wally.
Wally?
Wow, he's tough.
Oh.
Unsurprisingly, it hurts 4 damage. Scurry. He's fast. Clears your symbols. Ouch.
Oh, he clears your symbols? Oh, no.
Okay,
You
so
definitely don't want him to
This
get
guy is
that.
actually a
He's a
bit on the
threat.
gnarly side.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hold up.
What does the tiny bite do?
4 damage.
Okay.
Oddly enough, same amount of damage as the gun.
Which, oddly enough, requires knives. Though I suppose knife is just the general attack symbol.
Yeah. If you get this to drop down, that'd be cool. But I have to move it out of the way to pull off a combo.
So do you need
Oh,
skulls
I'm
for
gonna do
anything?
that
No,
at
you
the
don't
very
need
least.
skulls for
No,
anything.
but denying him skulls
Denying
is not
him
a bad
skulls.
idea.
Yep.
Because Scurry is actually kind of annoying. I mean, a lot of this fight is actually going to be a problem. He just got a
Yep,
pistol shot.
Pistol shot.
Yeah.
Unsurprisingly, it hurts.
Oh, him shooting me does not take up one of his turns. Owie.
Mm.
Wait, law enforcer, civil asset forfeiture. Steals all symbols from the opponent.
Oh.
Whoa.
Interesting. So essentially, he has a means to wipe out all of your symbols, but you have a means to steal his.
That's actually really cool.
Which would actually be good for you, considering you need a lot of blues and reds.
Yep. Any
I don't think he does anything to stress you, though.
no.
Unless,
Yeah, so I don't need greens for much of anything, though taking greens from him isn't a bad idea.
Mhm.
If I move that there, we get knife. Sets some things up.
You're gonna need first aid. Ouch.
Yeah, especially because he just got the gun.
Again. Yep. Oh, he'll have enough for a tiny bite.
Yep. Like, despite everything, actually sucks a bit.
Just grabs one of your exposed arms.
See, that never leads up to anything. Oh, this is why I have, like, oodles of bandages, at the very least.
Okay, well, the bandage doesn't take up your turn, correct?
Correct.
Okay, you have shoulder bash now.
Yep. The only problem is that uses up resources.
He is going to
For-
be able to use Scurry soon.
Yeah.
It's too bad you weren't able to get the civil asset forfeiture. Or forfeiture.
Well, we just used the blues up for shoulder bash.
Yeah. Well, there might be a means to get a number of blues. Considering, look at all those blues.
There's a lot of blues. They're just not in amazing spots for big combos,
Mm-hmm.
is the way I describe it. Because, yeah, I could go for this, and no, that wouldn't lead to much of anything unless we got weirdly lucky.
Yeah, those greens.
I'm going to
That
do
would-
it anyway. Because if he's going to
to bring down the
scurry, he does not scurry. He instead takes a red. Okay. Maybe we do go for civil asset forfeiture. How, though? Because, yeah, that's an oodle of blues. Oh. There we go.
Oh, there's some blues. Oh, you got some knives at the top.
Yep.
Ah, another hit. And he can do a pistol shot.
Yeah. All I need
Well, you have bandages.
is some blues.
So you can always use that instead of your first aid because the first aid would use up your reds.
Yeah, so I'm going to do bandages. That's his, right? Yeah. I'm going to do bandages, heal up, and then we're going to do civil asset forfeiture because he just got like
has a ton of
oodles of
stuff.
stuff.
Yep.
It was mine now. Ooh, and that charges it so I can use another civil asset forfeiture. As long as it doesn't just insta-give me. I have a ton of red. We tried bribing the dino with food. Alas. The problem is
Fortunately, when you yourself are food, I don't really know
I
what
am.
else you could bribe him with.
yeah, I am in fact food. Yeah, the problem is he's getting a bunch of knife combos. Which hurts me and charges his gun.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you might want to do the civil asset forfeiture, even if, because he's going to do a scurry.
He's
Or-
not going to be able to scurry yet, so
Yeah.
I'm going to wait.
Okay. Are you going to damage him then?
I mean, I could hit him with a shoulder bash. Now I'm trying to decide. I do this. That blue drops down, gets me
Oh.
some.
There you go.
Okay. So now I'm going to do a civil asset forfeiture.
Now, wasn't there an item that allowed you to take your turn twice?
Yeah, I
Or-
do have the cosmic hourglass. Might as well.
Wait, you are using it?
Yeah. Because I can always just buy more of those. It's very nice. But yeah, very much a DPS race in his advantage, which is not great for me. Okay, so if I do knives, we get a little bit more red.
Right, because each of those knives does 1 damage, correct?
Yeah. So I can take him
An
up the
indirect means of doing
shoulder
it.
bash.
Yep.
But I think I'm going to do first aid first.
But he's
Okay.
going to do scurry. That might prevent you from doing shoulder bash.
No,
Unless, oh, it's your turn. Okay,
Yep.
very well then.
Let's see.
And then you could do a dagger move. Or no, are all the
Yeah.
the daggers are too
Yeah, there
widely
are
dispersed.
no currently available daggers, which is a little annoying.
If
That's
you had
okay.
the hammer, that would have been nice.
Even if he scurries, I kill him on the next turn. Like, scurry clears my symbols, and then I shank him the rest of the way, and we're good.
There you go. Beat. Bloody and beat. The dino takes a long look. Wait, takes a long look at you. Probably not looks. And lowers his gun.
What do you want, man?
Clearly, we didn't start off on the right foot, and that's on me. Sorry. I wanted to ask, sir, can I open up that jail cell, please?
The dinosaur looks up and down. Oh, you up and down with clear disdain.
This place stinks, and being a guard isn't much better. If you got a cosmic hourglass or some cash, I'll let.
Oh no, you used up
No, I used a charge.
You used a charge on it.
Yeah, so I do have one.
oh.
I'll let this whole thing go.
Give hourglass.
You hand the cosmic hourglass to Dino Guard Wally. Its eyes grow wide as it takes the trinket from you. Then it begins to glow. As the creature rises towards the ceiling, wind and lightning swirling around its transformation, you swear you hear a chorus of angels singing. Ah, And as quickly as it begins, it ends. The dinosaur is gone. You have no idea what just happened. But it's probably bad.
Constant sense of dread.
Watch Wally be some kind of ascended angelic being.
I'm here to
later
make
on.
as many problems for myself, my future self, as possible.
With the guard out of the way, you can finally make your way to the prison cell. Oh, look at that! You approach the jail cell and an eerie feeling comes over you. The shape of the prisoner's body is familiar. You've seen it in the mirror. The man looks up at you, but doesn't seem to share the same unease. If anything, he looks annoyed.
If it isn't my better half. You, what are you doing in jail? Since Hunkin's been teleporting you all over the place, and the code of this game is a freaking mess, it's been moving me around. Or, it's been moving around anyone else named JJ, too.
Ah.
Oh. Yeah, oh. I was already struggling to reach the lower game functions, and now I'm stuck here. Sorry about that. Look, I maintain what I said before. I'm not evil. I know you're looking for the bowl of soup, and I have it. I'm gonna give it to you with no strings attached. Wow, thank you, that's great. But, as soon as you grab it, you're gonna trigger an event that's gonna teleport you out of here. Even better, right? No, because that will leave me trapped in here, unless you let me out first. So, a string. Wouldn't call it a string. Why do you want to reach the lower game functions so badly? That's my business.
So he can become the real JJ.
Right.
Probably.
Okay, this is getting a little stupid.
Evil JJ slides the soup out of the cell, through the slot in the bottom of the prison door.
If I'm evil JJ, that must make you good JJ, right? Now open the door. Free evil JJ. Trait progressed. Bad ideas?
Yep, another bad ideas.
You insert the guard's key into the cell lock and turn it after a breath of hesitation. While the door swings aside, evil JJ stands up and cracks his neck, rolling his shoulders in a motion you recognize intimately. Don't make me regret this.
Evil JJ pauses, then begins to walk purposefully. That's always one of those words that it's like, oh, you stumble across it and you have to, so many syllables, towards you. He doesn't stop until your noses are nearly touching.
And then they kiss. It's weird. If I can reach the lower game functions, neither of us will have anything to regret ever again. See, that sounds bad. Does it? Would it sound so bad if I was named Filbert?
What?
Maybe? You hate it. No! Forget that I said anything, it's a bad name. No, really, it's great. It's like, hey, is that Filbert over there? Hey gang, when's Filbert coming? It's great.
Unfortunately, whenever I think of Filbert, I just think of the paintbrush. Aren't there Filberts? Right?
Maybe?
I think they have.
Oh yeah.
They are the ones that have a rounded edge.
I'd
to
forgotten
them,
about
but they're
those.
a flat brush with a rounded edge, I think. Okay. Evil JJ looks down, an unknowable emotion crossing his face.
You're all right, JJ. Filbert.
He picks up the soup and holds it out to you with both hands. You take it from him, sharing a brief final glance as your body begins to spark and shake with glitching static. And then the world is gone again.
Oh, you got it. And you have a lot of nerve. You didn't tell me dinosaurs could talk. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. The devs flip-flopped on it since fan reaction to the sexy dinosaur in the last game was divisive. What now? Again, doesn't matter. I need you to fix this game so I can make strings. Your next destination is a big mid-game twist. All you gotta do is pour the soup into one of the empty tanks down to the basement. You'll know what to do when you see it.
Soup into a tank?
You proceed. I still love this. Transitional. Okay, so we didn't actually find any mutagen, which is a downer. Gonna buy another one of those. Gosh, that's expensive. And then I'm gonna fill up on bandages because they saved my butt. Luckily, I have oodles of money. Let's see. So do we want to go back to Clown Alley or do we want to keep going this direction?
If you want to, we can go to Clown Alley.
Yeah, let's keep going this direction for now. We can do Clown Alley when we hit a wall.
The basement labyrinth. You're starting to get used to this phasing in and out of reality stuff. As you look around, you spot a sign that says Basement Labyrinth. So, because, they're a scientist and they
Yep.
love their laboratory. Oh, look, labyrinth. Descending the stairs, you encounter a seemingly endless set of twisting corridors, each with fewer distinctive features than the last.
Follow the hum.
A hum. You try to locate the source of the hum. Every time you think you're getting close, it rings from somewhere else, until you can't remember which direction it first came from.
Gather your bearings. Oh.
The first thing you learned in ATS orienteering is not to panic when feeling lost. The second thing you learned was not to waste energy by wandering aimlessly through featureless hallways. If only there was a way to mark where you've been.
Ugh.
Ugh.
Well, no, retrace your steps.
You turn around, trying to remember which passageways you'd visited before, but they all blurred together in your mind. Despite your best efforts to find your way out, you only seem to go deeper.
See, wonder if you like I asked you that during the last stream, do you take commissions? Had to leave early. I do not. Mostly just because very limited time and I'm actually very expensive. Beyond way more expensive than my skill, I think, would necessitate.
I think
Ooh.
the other thing too with commissions is I had a lot of people ask me for commissions back in the day, and this is when I was doing, 10-hour plus paintings of D&D characters and things of that nature, and we were doing so much for our own projects that it was one of those things, well, we could take the time to do something for someone else, but it's one of those things where, I don't know, you lose any kind of ownership of it. Like, yes, you did it, but I don't know. It's difficult for artists. I suppose it depends on why you create art in the first place. And I know that for me, definitely being an artist, it was to flesh out my own worlds and my own characters. And yeah, I did have the desire to, someday, oh, wouldn't it be cool to do a magic card or something official for a game company or things like that.
I think if I was hired to do like cover art for a game for a developer that I'm like in contact with and have worked with, I could maybe swing that because that would be cool and permanent. Something I could point at to a lot. But if it was somebody's like OC, nah, I can't do that. All right, you want to go through this one?
Okay, the stealth lab. As you progress through the labyrinth, you notice that the world is becoming measured. Lines intersect across the floor and walls every meter in an increasingly oppressive grid. It all feels designed, like someone wanted to trap you here, just to see what you would do. A large square room rests at the corridor's end. It's completely empty, save for a desk positioned at the dead center, with 2 buttons crudely protruding from its geometry.
Activate the button labeled Stealth Failure.
Uh-oh, yeah, because you don't have thief hands. Pressing the button, a cyber raptor appears in the center of the room. It stares at you, wide-eyed. What?
I see you, Jason J. Hardwell. I mean, I did press the Stealth Failure button. No, they never coded it to stop. I know every place you are, were, or ever could be. The nav mesh is enabled in my brain, Jason.
Embedded, yeah.
Oh, embedded in my brain, Jason. I see you until you are no longer there to be seen. That sounds like it hurts. Is there any way I can help? I am going to kill you now. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Cover blown.
All you can do now is fight. Okay, match knives do damage. Fight, 4 damage, cyber laser, 10 damage, nav mesh awareness, harvests all monitor symbols. Oh, so it charges cyber laser. That's fine. Oh, wait, no. No, they took away my ability to steal symbols. I don't have it.
Wait,
What?
oh, I wonder if it's a situation where if prior to the battle you use your law enforcement trait, then it is actually included in the fight?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm just gonna stab him for now. Oh, that's a really good.
Oh, yeah. And the other thing about commissions, too, is there's always the whole thing of, how do you work out payments and contracts and rights management and like where can the things be posted, and then now with, you know, every tech corp scraping everything that we've ever made, it's just like
Yeah.
the internet's a mess right now.
Okay, so it's gonna... Oof. It is going to charge its cyber laser. Almost immediately. So yeah, how many... Yeah, that's a lot of monitor symbols. So I should probably actually snag as many as I can. Unfortunately, there's no good combos, so I'll just take that one for now. Hey, that actually worked out extremely well for me.
Where? Oh, yep. Took away all of those. Wait, he acquired them?
Yep. So now he can fire his cyber laser at me.
How much damage does that do?
This is gonna hurt.
Well, good thing you have bandages on hand.
I had a bunch of... This is...
And first aid.
Yeah, this is working great for me, kind of, sort of.
Behold, the power of super science. 10
Ow.
damage. Ouch.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pop the bandages. Okay. Do that, we get a double. Double might lead to something. The answer is no. We should probably also...
Yeah, you might want to do more first aid because he could just annihilate you, couldn't he?
Yeah.
Oh no, ouch.
We got Wombo comboed.
Anything more we can do to him to damage him more?
I got a couple of options.
Ah, the cosmic hourglass. Oh, first aid is a good choice.
Okay, let's take a look.
Ooh, wild.
Yeah. Not positioned the best.
Mm-hmm.
Eh.
Yeah, green you can't use for much.
Really, he went for the bite. I was not expecting that. Unfortunately, he's got oodles of symbols to bite me a bunch of times.
Yep, he is enough to laser you twice. But he can't do so in the same turn, correct?
Correct. And I do have some more... I've got some options.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
How many daggers can you do?
There's a 4 combo right here.
Oh, look at that. Got you quite a bit. Whoa,
Still getting me a bunch.
Look at it go. Yep.
Gets me a shoulder bash. Into a...
Oh, you could have done more
into a
dagger.
kill.
Yep. There he
That
goes.
works.
You're covered in raptor blood. Oh, hacker blood. The smell is rank, vaguely metallic, and some part of you wonders how it would taste if you were to fight it again.
Feral.
Feral. Uh-oh.
Do the red gems do damage? No.
And a branch reached. The lab rat.
But hey, is progress.
So if you ever get those stealthy hands or the thief's hands skill,
Yeah.
then you know to go back down there, correct?
Yep. Okay, so rather than following the hum, let's look for a way out.
Static electricity charges the air as you progress deeper into the labyrinth. Beads of sweat form on your brow. You turn a corner and find yourself in a long hallway bathed in the dim glow of computer monitors. At the end, a keypad blocks entrance to the server room.
I'm actually going to do look elsewhere first, because hacker blood seems like it'll make progress.
Ooh. You turn around, trying to remember.
Oh, we've gone back here again. Shoot.
No, this why?
I mean, it's not a problem.
Ah,
See?
yeah, you can just teleport back. That's good. Doesn't force you through.
I didn't buy bandages. That is crucial. Good call. Okay, so we want to look for a way out and crack the code.
Crack the code. Ooh. You proceed. The server room. The server room is, outside of its lavish set dressing, bare. This is, for all intents, an expensive mausoleum. A single monitor glows a lurid purple. Oh, well, it's not pictured here. Everything looks pretty green to me, but a lurid purple from the corner. Beside it hangs a pinup poster of a dinosaur, muscles glistening, eyes highlighted by a mischievous shine.
I'm reminded of that Spider-Man comic that got turned into a meme, where Spider-Man was fighting this like mad scientist who turns people into dinosaurs. He's like, you could do anything with this, like cure cancer. And it's like, I don't want to cure cancer. I want to make people into dinosaurs. This game keeps giving me that vibe endlessly. It had to have been an inspiration, maybe. It was a pocket shotgun. Well, in this case, it's a shotgun that does 4 damage as it fits in your pocket. Single use, though. I'd rather use the bandage, probably. Anyway, hack the glowing monitor, since we have not awakened, probably to our finish.
Uh-oh.
Not uh-oh. Ooh.
You crack your fingers. Hacker blood flows through your veins. It's your turn to say,
I'm in. You in? Hack the glowing monitor.
it's not purple.
Guess password increases progress. Lockout error. And background processing.
Okay, but the discs are purple.
Yep. Okay, guess okay. So we just want discs. I guess I'll just slap that one for now.
Background oh, I love that noise. It comes right out of the late 90s and early 2000s.
All you need to do to appeal to Shell is to do anything 90s.
I mean, it was a great time to grow up.
Yeah.
You and I, being 90s kids, we got to see I don't know.
The world wasn't shitty yet.
It was before social media, before cell phones and smartphones, before all this technology being thrown into every single appliance or device. Also, devices back in the day were so chunky and often colorful, and they had buttons. Buttons, guys. Do you remember what buttons felt like? Now everything is behind screens or touch screens, and supposedly it's been especially an issue with vehicles because people have to actively look at touch screens in order to see what options they're selecting, and you don't have manual knobs, buttons, wheels, things that you can use to, say, modify your air conditioning in your vehicle or turn on lights and stuff, and yeah. Plus everything's spying on you now.
Yeah.
And I do remember back then, people had the Furbies and the Poochies. I had a BioBug, though.
She really is proud of this BioBug.
I mean, so, yeah, as I said before, everyone else had Furbies and Poochies and stuff. And sure, they talk or they bark and they do cute dances and I don't know. But my BioBug, it was meant for battling. Kind of like Pokemon. There were 4 different varieties. I had the red one. They all had 3 eyes and they would glow different colors depending on what their BioBug level was. And yeah, they would you would set 2 of them on the ground and say battle time. And they had a remote technically, but they would charge at each other and essentially smash into each other until one of them decided to retreat. And they would lose a level and the victor would gain a level. They had 2 antennae in the front and 1 antenna in the back, and that's how they navigated their environment and conducted their battles.
I wonder why you're letting the computer progress. I'm just stacking tons of discs because I'd rather focus on combos. There's a failure state, but only if it reaches 0%. So I'm in like super comfort mode right now.
Yeah. At the same 5th grade birthday party, 2 of my friends did gift me techno puppies. Man,
weren't those things expensive?
Yeah, there were the techno dogs. Or I don't know what they... It was the much larger one. And then the Techno Puppies were smaller.
Because, like, it felt like the rule of thumb for me growing up is that you get somebody a $20 gift.
I don't think... I think those were more like $40 at the time. Yeah, so... Oh, those were nice ones. They could interact with each other. They could bark and have little songs that they played with one another. So that was the one
interface and plot your demise.
I never had a Tamagotchi or anything like that, though.
I had a Tamagotchi, but I didn't like it that much. And then I had the Pokewalker, the like little Pikachu one. I liked that one, but I gave it to my mom and she lost it, and I was kind of upset about that because they stopped selling them.
Your mouth is dry, your entire body tingles, you barely comprehend the movement of your own fingers, only their intent. Clearly, you've gained a powerful and exhausting ability. Eventually, you reach some kind of breakthrough. The screen fills with symbols before resolving into a friendly, understandable desktop.
Design proposal. JJ isn't an inherently stealthy character, but in small sequences between major action beats, we can play up the systemic danger of the mansion by taking away his items and forcing him to eliminate enemies silently. With a looming threat of the Techno Demon is unleashed in the previous side quest, acting as an invisible threat and instant fail mechanism. Techno Demon? Did I just unleash a Techno Demon? Was this the Techno Demon side quest? You have to tell me it was you have to tell me if I unleashed a Techno Demon. That's supposed to be listed somewhere.
Technically, you still pronounce Damon as demon. I know that like sometimes they try to differentiate it, but AE in things like Latin and stuff, it's...
The computer has no reply.
End of branch reached.
Okay. There's something else down that route, but I forget what it was.
I do like the sound of Damon, though.
Oh, Awaken. Yeah.
As just an alternative, but it's definitely one of those situations in fantasy and sci-fi where they say, hey, we're going to add extra letters. Or, you know how in fantasy they specifically like to use the letter Y instead of an I or something, just to be like, hey, look, our name is more fantastical. Okay, the basement labyrinth again.
Well, this time I did the lab rat, so this is new.
Your time spent in these halls has attuned you to subtle differences in heat, air pressure, and vibrations. You close your eyes and let these senses guide you. You notice fewer turns as you advance. A cool breeze cuts through the stale basement air. Whatever awaits you at the end of the labyrinth, you're nearing it. After what feels like hours, you find yourself staring at a sign that says, Labyrinth.
I'm back where I started? Wait, no.
The sign is next to a set of double doors. Peering through their small glass windows, you can just barely make out assorted scientific instruments in the darkness. You push your way through the doors and creep your way into the darkened lab. The automatic lights only flicker on after a delay.
Oh no.
As if they'd prefer not to shine. Is that the tank that you need to pour the soup in?
I don't know, but these
they
are all
look
clones.
like people. Are they the Hunkins?
What the?
No.
The face
Jack
of
Breyer.
Jack Breyer stares back at you out of a giant glass tank.
Yeah, so Jack Breyer, for those of you who weren't there to catch at the beginning, Jack Breyer was this famous, legendary agent that this guy definitely looked up to. And he was essentially the star of this series until he died tragically in the previous game, quote unquote.
Fighting a T-Rex, I think.
Yeah, I think the T-Rex got him. But looks like Hunkin is...
making more.
Yeah. The rest of him is nowhere to be seen. His face appears to be growing the rest of him, albeit with marginal success. These cloning tanks line every wall of the room, and some sit in various clusters around the lab, as if someone ran out of space and placed them wherever was most convenient. While the rest of the tanks appear to house humans at various stages of development, most of them look less like Jack and more like...
No. Yes. No!
More like
No, stop!
unable to grapple with seeing your face reflected back at you for the second time today, you lose balance and your head meets the floor. You barely hold on to consciousness. Questions swirl through your mind as you lose control of your breathing.
What is this? What am I?
The cloning tank nearest to you continues to bubble and hiss. As you look in its direction, you can't make out the figure inside, but for the first time, you feel the presence of a consciousness, and it's reaching for you.
Mirror match. Free your mind before it's too late. Clone tank. Match beakers to gain progress.
Match beakers?
Oof. Oh.
Ooh, touch mine? What does it do?
What's that sound? Raises stress by 30. Advances traits. Passenger.
Uh-oh.
That's the first time I've ever seen that before. So to some degree, we actually want to let that happen.
But it gives you 30 stress.
Yup.
That's more than half of what you have. That's 3/4
Yep.
of what you're able to potentially endure.
Yep. Which is obviously not great.
Oh, you know what? Back in the day, weren't there Technoraptors? There were dinosaur pets too. You remember seeing them? They were black and white and had very small eyes.
I think
They were about
so.
2 feet long and they would swing their tail back and forth.
Oof. Oof.
I don't know if they still
I
sell
didn't go for it.
those.
Weird.
Didn't they release Furbies recently?
Re-release them, I think?
Yeah. There's a new line of them. Makes me wonder whatever happened to the Poochies. And I know that biobugs were a passing thing, so no more biobugs. It was something that you would get in the Discovery Channel store back in the mall way back when.
Uh-oh.
Anyone
Oh,
remember
no.
malls?
Well,
Oh no! Are they gonna touch your... Oh, you... Uh-oh. That's not good. So they're going to touch your mind.
time to become a passenger, I suppose.
They could do it twice? Oh no, what is a roulette?
Well, this is what happens when you stress.
Have symbols.
Oh, that's not bad, actually.
Well, it's not that you had many to begin with.
Yeah, I forgot, stress doesn't kill you, so I can just do whatever now. I mean, there are consequences for it, sure, but...
Mhm.
It's not nearly as dire as I thought it would be.
Since we are on the topic of things from the 90s that we're
Yeah.
nostalgic for or miss, what would you say is the #1 thing? It'd probably be associated with video games, no doubt, but what would it be? Contemplating?
You know, I actually just miss small handhelds. Like small handheld systems.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Switch. I'm mildly excited for the Switch 2, even if like mostly it doesn't affect me because it's going to be years before I pick. Well, maybe not years, but it's going to be a while before I pick one up.
We're at that stage where we're not too certain we want to pick up the Switch 2 yet, especially because I think it's already mostly sold out places. But it's one of those situations where it's in the transitionary period of all the games that we were looking forward to are still being released on the Switch as well. They might not be graphically superior, but they're still going to be playable.
Yeah.
So for instance, I'm really excited for Metroid Prime 4 because
I will probably try and get a Switch so we can play that at full quality, or a Switch 2 so we can play that at full quality.
but it might
because
be
I
one of
know
those
it's gonna
cases
look
where we
nice.
get one physical and one digital.
Yeah.
Or I suppose if you get a digital, you might be able to transfer it to the other one.
No, the
Or wait,
physical,
no,
you can actually use the Switch 2 carts in you can use the Switch 2 carts in the Switch 1. They like confirmed that recently.
Whoa. But wait a minute. So you can, but what does that mean if you get the Switch 2 version of Metroid Prime 4 versus the Switch 1 version of Metroid Prime 4? I think that
I think you just plug it in and you can just play it.
so it has both versions stored on it?
I think so.
Or is it one of those situations where it detects which version you're putting it into and it...
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Because, for instance, back in the day with, say, Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess and such, yeah, you were going from the GameCube to the Wii. And I suppose, though, if you were playing off the GameCube disc, you would probably have to play with the GameCube controller. Even though the Wii could take the GameCube disc. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas if you played with the Wii disc, you would have to play with the Wii controls.
No, you could still put the GameCube in a lot of them.
No, but what I'm getting at is, depending on which disc you used, it determined what control scheme you're using. And so in the case of the Switch 1 and 2, the game wouldn't function any differently, and the carts are compatible either way, but it's a matter of the graphical fidelity.
Yeah.
So I'd be curious to see how they handled it.
That's not bad at all. Yeah, I'm curious too. And like, I'm looking forward to it. But I just miss the era of like small handhelds just in general. Because they were so much more comfortable. Like, it's nice to have all the extra processing power. It's so cool being able to play like a modern AAA game on a Switch. Like, that's conceptually a really neat idea. And I enjoy...
Do you know what it is, too? Now that I think about it, with handheld games, most of them were still pixelated, and they had a... Well, by pixelated, I mean pixel-based.
Yeah.
And they had a very different aesthetic and feel. Ooh, no.
Well, it's fine.
Staring through the glass and dark thoughts.
Yeah, not really too much of a problem for me. We're actually doing great.
But for me, there was always a delineation back in the day when, okay, this is a PC game that I play on the PC, this is a game that I play on the Nintendo 64, and these are the games that I play on my Game Boy.
Yeah.
But now I suppose everything is starting to look the same.
Yeah.
And are compatible on
kind
everything.
of. We're hitting a really hard, like...
Plateau, as we refer to it as.
Yeah, the like graphical fidelity is plateauing to the point where like...
Even the handhelds are able to perform.
Yeah. At this point, who cares if the... Who cares what the game looks like as long as it looks nice? And nice is like much wider. So like this is a game, for example, that technically is 4K, but how would you know?
Well, this is a game back in the day where, yeah, played on PC, could be played on console, but also potentially feasible on, say, something in the DS era?
Oh yeah, like you could have put this on a PSP or a PSP Vita or something and it would have been fine.
But at the moment, we're getting to the point where even 3D games can play on handhelds. And now also the consoles are just becoming handhelds.
Yep. Well, I think that is, like, oddly enough, I think that is kind of the next thing that a lot of these companies are going to be going for. Maybe.
I think it's because, they want to compete with the mobile market.
Well, yeah, so if you can't make your games look more impressive, you can just make them more accessible, if that makes sense.
And fit onto smaller and smaller devices.
Yeah. Because, like, I mean, the fact that Elden Ring works on a Steam Deck is really cool, but imagine, like, Elden Ring on a PSP. That'd be even more impressive.
But once again, the Game Boys back in the day were so colorful and chunky.
Yeah, I do miss that.
The voice in your head has become too loud to ignore. It compels you to listen and drink deep of its offerings, to shelter yourself in its will.
Let it in.
What? You're gonna let it in?
Steel yourself against it. I could do either. Let's steel yourself.
You concentrate all of your willpower into a single centralized point, and in the focus, the voices go quiet. You shake off the sense of an entity tasting the edge of your mind. Roll your shoulders back and exhale. Whatever's going to happen will happen, and you're ready for it. Looking toward the far end of the chamber, you spot a cloning vat next to a bizarre array of computer terminals. This is what you're looking for. You pour the bowl of soup you retrieved from the laundry room into the vat. It settles on top of the goo inside, but it refuses to mix. With a reluctant breath, you plunge your hand into the vat and combine the substances yourself. You think you can feel bits of clone gliding between your fingers while you move your arm in determined circles. As noxious fumes begin to waft from the clone tank, and you feel an oncoming glitch, buttons begin to flash on a computer terminal nearby. So you can release the clones.
Destroy the clones.
Destroy the clones.
Eat the clones.
Eat the... What? No, I know that you ate
There
a
can
book
only be
in one. Of your,
one.
why? Wander. Cannibal. What is it when
Yeah.
it's self-cannibalism?
It's not cannibal. It's no different from eating a hangnail.
A hangnail. You smash the release button, opening all of the tanks. Then, the presence. It crawls out with an insatiable hunger. You must be made whole. You must be made whole. You must be made whole. When you come to, the clones are all gone. You don't know what you did, but you were very hungry, and now you don't feel hungry at all. What's the trait? The clonable.
Clonable.
Clonable? Except for your doppelganger. You are the one and only JJ Hardwell. Oh wait, wasn't there a Jack Breyer somewhere?
Yes. But he was not one of the clones.
Uh-huh.
Of us, I don't think.
Satisfied with your decisions, you let the glitch consume you, transporting you back to the bar. Bartender Hunkin is cleaning the barrel of a minigun, with one eye closed when you reappear into the bar. Clone goo, still clinging to your clothing.
I'll be damned, you did it. Hunkin, what the hell is wrong with you? There was an entire cloning lab in there. I'm some kind of Jack Breyer clone?
Oh, you see, that's the answer, that he is a clone of Jack Breyer.
Okay. Oh, yeah. That's the part of the game where you're supposed to learn that I was hired by the ATS to bring Jack Breyer back to life. But you know that old story. I got disillusioned and changed the plan. Then my experiments turned on me, and then I wanted to build the ultimate dinosaur wrangler to take over the world. Aren't we kind of past that thing now? You can't. I will never. Catch.
Hunkin tosses you the minigun, which you immediately find to be much heavier than he made it look.
It's a late game bonus weapon. You skipped the puzzles that would have given it to you. Enjoy. You can't buy my loyalty with a cool weapon. Of course I can. Now, since you've moved some pieces around, we can get you into an earlier version of the boss fight that you can actually beat. Let me know when you're ready. I don't like you. That's great news for the cult you're about to kill.
The cult! Oh no.
Okay, harvest 10 random. Ooh. Oh, right click to destroy. We do need another large slot at some point.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm curious what other options we had in that mess.
Is that permanent, or you could go
So the
back
minigun
and
is permanent, but I
free
can
the
buy
clones?
more whenever I
The
want.
thing is, if all the clones are half formed and you
So like
freed them,
I can go back here and try some of the other dialogue options.
it's okay.
We'll have to at some point for perks.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you do have one mutagen.
Yeah, but that's only one.
Only one.
I need
3, 5,
5.
6. Yeah.
So let's get to Act 4 and then let's go back maybe.
Oh, yes, the cult. You glitch back into the boss room. The attic is more intact this time around. And while the Hunkins are chanting as before, they seem less imposing, somehow. Maybe it's because you just experienced a full psychological break.
Blathanga, Iqbal, Sudna. Schnafal, Redmed, Schnmednezik. Yeah, got it. Huh? Cult of Hunkins, V.08. Finally, a fight you can win. The title of this game is amazing. This whole game is amazing. So they have warp geometry, so they have the same stuff. Performance dip prevents you from using actions for a turn. Okay, that's a little spooky. Wait, clonable.
Satisfy your hunger.
You must be made whole.
You're gonna eat the
I was not expecting that to
Hunkins?
just be a permanent move.
I don't.
Yes. Oh, this game is genius. Are they the Wizard Money Gang? They are the Shadow Wizard Money Gang. This area looks super completable, but I don't see an opening. I'll take it.
Beards always look glorious when illustrated,
Yeah.
but when it comes to real life, I don't know.
Excuse me, my beard looks nice when I have it.
Yeah, but you never have it that long, and I don't think.
True.
Like, imagine if your mustache actually grew out. You'd be a walrus.
I'd be a mess.
It would be so prickly. Like, so for context, Wander's mustache hair pokes out. It doesn't like swoop off to the side or anything like a regular mustache should do. It doesn't point downwards. It points
Yeah, I have
out.
a very spiky mustache for some reason.
Yeah, and it hurts. I should know because I have to kiss you. But in any case, yeah, very pointy. Can't imagine Wander ever growing it out.
Prevents me from using an action for a turn, but it looks like I can satisfy my hunger. Oh, this is working out great. Eat him. Oh, no.
Unfortunately, because we currently have our dinosaur avatars
I like
out.
how I kill the Hunkins. Sorry.
Oh.
We have the dinosaur covering the what?
I was going to say that because we have dinosaur avatars, unfortunately, the image of them with mustaches or beards came to mind. I'm like, thank goodness reptiles do not grow hair in that manner. I can't imagine. Okay.
I love the fact that I killed them with satisfy your hunger.
Satisfy your hunger. So you just leapt into the crowd and took a bite out of one of
Just ate
them.
all. Just pieces missing.
The Hunkins lay defeated. You just beat the final boss of Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3, or at least a version of it.
Man, not so fast.
One of the many Hunkins pulls a small device from under his robes.
You die with us, JJ Hardwell.
He presses a button on the device. A boom echoes through the mansion, causing the floor to buckle underneath your feet. You run. Oh, the whole mansion implodes? No? Sprinting down the steps of Dockwright Mansion, you can feel the tang of game levels that you never played brushing past the edges of your consciousness. You now know at the core of your being that Bartender Hunkin, your Hunkin, is the original Hunkin Dockwright III. And now he's waiting for you just outside the mansion gate. He's looking at his feet, where a washing machine appears to be half embedded in the floor. It makes an awful racket as it judders and collides with the scenery. Finally, it frees itself from the earthen constraints and begins zipping through the sky at a speed you can barely grasp.
There's our nasty little friend. A loose physics object. It's causing too many calculations. CPU can't handle it. A washing machine? That's what's causing the entire game to break down? That's video games, boy. Take a deep breath and take care of it. Best be quick. Okay, I'm on it. Fix the washing machine. Repair the catastrophic bug.
What?
Oh. Oh boy. Okay. 10,000 tons of pure mesh collider, 10 damage.
Oh, wow.
Shuffles your symbol counts and harvests a block of symbols. So we have dodge debris. Steals 5 of each symbol from your opponent. That's really good. and fix the bug, but I need a lot of things for that. Okay, any big combos? I'll take this one.
I do have to say, though, that imagining facial hair on characters has been, I suppose I should say that when I was young, I would go to bed every night dreaming up new worlds and characters and places and adventures and things that I'd like to write down, right? But if I imagined a single character having a mustache or a beard and somehow imagined it on the wrong character, it would keep coming up on every single character, regardless of whether they were supposed to have a mustache or a beard or not.
Sounds like you had an awakening then.
No, it was horrifying. I go, no, I don't want the mustache or the beard. And then you think about it and it persists because by thinking about the mustache and the beard, it manifests itself again and again and again. And as long as you acknowledge the existence of it, they would come back. So, now I think we're just too tired all the time and I tend to just go to sleep immediately. But it's one of those situations where, It's funny, though, because now whenever you create characters in games, you tend to go for the facial hair.
I often give characters beards because, I don't know, a lot of male characters in video games look not great.
You use it as a means to cover up their faces?
A little bit, yeah. Because oftentimes the beard looks good, or at least good enough. And so it's kind of easy to be like, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna need some more red. At least this guy really isn't too much of a danger.
Are those... what are those inside it? Because they look like balls, but I don't know if they're kind of gachapon balls or if they're wool balls for...
Yeah, I don't know.
But it's a washing machine, so you wouldn't put the wool balls in there. That's for the dryer. So what's your strategy against this thing?
I mean, mostly just waiting. It has the wash symbol bank, but that isn't too much of a worry as long as I
How
have
do you know it's
tons.
repaired? Oh, fixing. You have to get to 10 of each.
Yep.
Except for the bolts. Or the nuts? Nuts.
Yeah, I need a little bit more yellow and I need a lot more nuts. Problem is, getting to that quantity is
Oh, you could have
tricky.
gotten yellow there, though.
Oh.
If you had pulled that one square
Well,
block
I mean,
over
he
to the
just
right.
shuffled it. So now I have 20 nuts and... Yeah.
Hey, you actually want 20 nuts.
Yep. Yeah, so that's good for now. What I want to do is effectively raise up whatever I have the lowest number of, because I think it just shuffles things around, so whatever I have the...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it spins, yeah.
Problem is, it's about to meteor me. That's annoying. And I have a couple of bandages. It isn't an issue. I mean, gun isn't one use? No. I healed twice. So I need green if we have easy green. So I think green's one of our big limiting factors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely green. But now you've broached... Yeah,
Oh yeah, I can actually just fix the bug. Oh, that's convenient. Stop this madness. Ends the encounter.
You feel the game transform around you, pulling you into the final cutscene. The mansion explodes, sending shrapnel and vaporized dinosaur parts flying. Thanks to your intervention, the Dockwright tragedy has been successfully averted. JJ and Hunkin limp away from the wreckage, both of their futures uncertain. JJ intends to create as vague a report as he can and put the past behind him. Hunkin, on the other hand... Hunkin has a strange feeling that the past...
Yeah, the game's canceled. This cutscene's never getting finished.
Oh no!
Chapter complete. Yeah, so this is apparently actually
One of the bad endings.
no.
Oh.
I mean sort of, but I was going to say this game specifically is somewhat like a kind of dark parody of like what it's like to be a game developer.
Mm-hmm.
And like kind of a window into modern game development, which is actually really cool. That even just beyond being a goofy parody, it actually tries to have like a story and a message here, which is nice.
Well, one thing I remember reading about just folks in game development talking about all the projects that they worked on. This is true for artists as well, because we follow a lot of artists. And they say that it's something like 1 in 10 or not even of any of the projects that they ever work on are seen to completion.
Yeah.
That so many of them are discarded or canceled or whatnot before it even truly sees the light of day.
I'm always baffled that like one of the most stable jobs in the industry is being a professional like content creator within like video gaming.
Which is really sad because it should be the people that are actually
Making the
creating
games. Yeah. And like I'm hoping with the new I'm going to say with a lot of indie developers, you know, seeing stuff like III starting to uplift game developers, and I'm hoping Strange Scaffold is mostly stable. They were doing a little bit of behind the curtain stuff, and I think they have a documentary I need to go watch.
Oh, yeah.
But they very much are like on shoestring budgets, but they're making it work. And it's one of those where like I really hope that like the changes to a more indie focused side of the industry levels things out a little bit, but I don't know. It's tough. Anyway.
Hunkin is speaking, but the words seem to slide past you, shaking and wavering as they wind past your ears and around your brain. Cancellation? What does that mean? The game can't be canceled. You're still in it. This doesn't make sense. Nothing makes sense. And now, Hunkin is snapping his fingers in front of your face, repeatedly.
Right, JJ.
Whoa, can I interject with something here, though?
Yeah.
So, you know how there have been numerous films, once again, kind of back in the 80s, 90s and such, where you had fictional characters in a movie, in a book, in a video game, whatever, and it was as though they existed as long as the franchise or the physical device that they were stored on exists. So I'm curious, for a video game like this, would they exist as long as there's a copy somewhere? Does it have to be currently running electricity through it? Is it a situation where people have to be actively playing remembering it in order for it to exist?
The implication, like the never-ending story, was that the book was writing itself slowly. But then when the kid got like their hands on the actual book, they could add stuff to it. But it would still like be adding more live as things were happening. I don't know. I think it varies from telling to telling. I mean, obviously this isn't a real thing that could happen, so it's all purely hypothetical and depends on a lot of different things.
And then there are all those books where just a novelist is in the process of writing a book, and if the characters become aware, it's... I don't know, because there are situations where it is just as long as someone remembers it exists, or as long as there is that physical copy somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, with a video game, the fact that it has to be powered, it makes it different than just a book.
What happens if you turn off the power to Tron? Does everyone in Tron die?
I thought that they actually had the computer hooked up constantly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would assume that they essentially would be...
I guess we'll get our answer with the next movie, maybe.
Oh, yeah, there is another movie, I forgot.
Yep, it's a reverse isekai. Tron's coming to Earth, ? Yeah. I don't know.
How can they be made manifest?
I don't know.
I suppose in the last movie they did have the girl become real, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to continue that plot thread. We'll find out.
Okay.
Right, JJ? Yeah. Yes. You weren't listening. I was. It wasn't a question. The bug seems to be fixed. I can safely mix drinks, so our arrangement is complete, right? But the game, it's not coming out. I'm not seeing the problem here. If the game got cancelled and we just fixed it, we can release it ourselves. This can't be the end. Listen, if creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3 comes out, you and your legion of clones are going to tear my legion of clones limb from limb, across millions of copies sold. I don't mind that not happening. I'm gonna find a way to release this game. Are you with me? I'm with this flamed orange peel and its freshly expressed oils. Come on. Even if I wanted to help, there's no way to access the outside world. You'd need to open a network port, and the only one who could do that is the wizard.
The wizard?
The wizard. Magic exists in this game? Sure. Too bad it's impossible to reach him. When the developers cut something or wanted to ditch a system from the previous project, they'd flag it as deprecated. Anything deprecated gets moved to a special folder and sealed off from the rest of the game, including the wizard. Can you send me to the deprecated files? Let's see.
Hunkin retrieves his manual of debug functions from under the bar. I think the thing is you're just going to have to break something in order to get to that file, aren't you?
Maybe.
He cracks it open to... Well, because think about it. Aren't there some games where people can crack their way into a new level or zone or cutscene or instance?
Yeah, it's called wrong warping in a lot of cases.
Uh-huh.
Or clipping. I don't know. It varies.
He cracks it open to a random page. Well, okay, so... Sorry. I'm thinking about that bug that allowed you to catch Mew.
Yeah.
In blue and red.
Well, that was just lighting up enough bits that it tricked the game code into thinking,
You had to do so many specific things, like...
Yeah.
Fly away from someone before you battled, fight a specific person.
If I remember right, it was because... Was the original Pokemon game written in, like, assembly or something? Like, it was much more basic? And therefore you could trick it by doing weird stuff like that.
Right, so you would just encounter a level 7 Mew out on a path after doing...
So curious how people figured that stuff out.
I know. Well, maybe what they did is they kind of reverse engineered it. Is it possible for you to figure out where the code for Mew could have been in the game?
I am sure that this has actually been like studied and like explained properly if we went looking for it.
Yeah, and I can attest to the fact that it worked because I actually replicated it in my Pokemon Blue version.
I just got Missing No a bunch of times because that was easier.
Yeah, I didn't do Missing No, but yeah, I did catch the Mew in the game. I know that some people were trying to find it for, say, Celebi in Silver and Gold because the Japanese version had it.
Yep.
And the American version did not. I think they didn't put it back in until Crystal.
Yep.
But in any case, he cracks it open to a random page, skims its contents, and then slams the book shut in your face.
Nope, can't be done. Sorry. You didn't even try. JJ, I'm doing you a favor. Trust me, the sooner you give up on this pipe dream, the happier we'll both be.
Hunkin returns the manual to its shelf, turns his back to you, and picks up his instruments.
You proceed. Okay, so shop-wise, yeah, we haven't gotten anything new.
Okay, so you can still access the shop.
Bandages.
It's as though he
we
is
did get a bunch of mutagen.
Yeah, he hasn't rescinded his services.
Yeah. So I don't know if I want to do chapter 4 yet. It kind of feels like we should maybe go back through some of these.
Sure, but what were the branches that you could do? Oh, well, there's the clowns.
Yeah, we haven't done the clowns yet.
I suppose we could do the clowns. Look at those images. Stock images.
Love this.
Of the clowns. I wouldn't be surprised if that person in the center, though, isn't an actual dev member or something. Who knows?
Maybe.
You emerge into a dilapidated corridor full of missing geometry. Stock images of clowns decorate the walls and ceiling. The letters painted on the floor could be inscribed in either paint or blood.
To do. Creepy rhyme about clowns. Huh.
In the distance, you hear the honk of a rubber horn. In the other direction, a door seems to lead to a quieter passage.
Seek the honking.
Oh no, the honking. You make your way towards the honking, when suddenly you feel pressure on your shin.
Finish your step. Developing a calf injury.
Yeah, you don't have enough of a calf injury right now.
We haven't injured myself yet.
Bad idea, so you finish stepping without a second thought. Click.
Ah, shoot.
Boom. A a bomb goes off right next to you, inexplicably leaving the room intact but severely damaging you in the process. A sea of wires linked to improvised explosives becomes apparent to you.
I was so focused on the honking, I didn't even notice. Ordnance disposal is standard ATS fieldwork, though. This shouldn't be a problem. Like the fake copyright text. Yeah, it's clown stock. I love that they did it for only one of the two clowns, too. Alright, so disarm. Okay. Now, well, I guess first things first, I might as well heal up.
So, obviously clowns have been villainized in so many things. Clowns, mimes, etc.
Yeah.
I mean, it is obviously an example. What I'm wondering is, what is it about clowns? Clowns that typically were either joyous or sorrowful, though obviously prone to mischief. What makes them in particular the subject of so much fear? I think for children, clowns, I think I only went to maybe one birthday party growing up that had a hired clown over it. And I think to me, it was the knowledge that they were a person that was dressed up and that under any normal circumstances, we would never interact. That they were hired to be this other persona, this clown. But who are they really? You know?
I suppose. Clowns never bugged me. But I also never interacted with them.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
The first clown I met was when I was like 14, and it was my bus driver.
Well, you see, you knew him.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't as creepy. I really do enjoy things like Cirque du Soleil, though, and they make beautiful costumes. And the people do sometimes have very traditional clown-like makeup, but it's so gorgeously done. They aren't the traditional, clowns in very ill-fitting baggy clothing and frills and things of that nature. But then again, I think with a lot of horror, they want to take something that's supposed to be fun and innocuous and make it threatening.
Oh, you know what?
Huh?
I was wrong. The first time I ever encountered a clown was at a rodeo.
A rodeo?
Yeah.
You went to a rodeo?
I went to a rodeo. When I lived in New Mexico, there was a place that did rodeos, and we went there exactly once. And I watched...
Did the bulls succeed in throwing off the rider?
Yeah, the clowns were not very good.
Wait, the clowns were the ones riding the bulls?
Yeah.
Wait, you did not...
You've never heard of this? Like,
No.
A lot of rodeos, as far as I can tell, involve a sideshow where, like, the not rodeo person is just clowns that will try and also rodeo, but badly. And it's supposed to be funny?
Yeah, I can see that from a comedic standpoint. They do have clowns often as intermission and things to appeal to the kids. So, yeah.
And
it's almost like the mascot at a baseball game or something. They do their little funny antics on the field and, people laugh at them. But yeah, you're right. It is to break up either the monotony or the tenseness of the activity. And so.
So
how did the bulls react to the clowns?
Normally pissed off. I don't know. It didn't seem like the clown aspect of it made any difference for the animals. Rodeo clowns are stunt artists. The sad part is the rodeo clowns were better than the actual rodeo guys, from what I remember.
Well,
so it's kind of one of those where, like, the clowns were impressive, and then it went back to the rodeo guys who sucked, and we just left.
I think what it is with especially those rodeo clowns is that they have to be able to not only perform, but then also if they're riding the bulls as well, they have to be just as competent as the regular rodeo riders, if not better, because they are under makeup and costumes.
And then I think it started raining, and we were just like, okay, we're not going back.
Oh,
because they had like a whole area outside the actual like rodeo arena. You could go get food and other things. We're just like, nah, it's time to go. This wasn't actually as interesting as we wanted it to be.
Rain is probably the arch nemesis of a clown, considering the paint they have to wear on their faces.
They're wearing grease paint, so maybe not. It probably still looks bad, though.
It would still smudge a
Fair
little,
enough.
even if it's water repellent. I tend to use water-based paints, so yeah, that would be
a problem.
That would be a problem. But yeah. But clown rodeos, something that I did not anticipate having to envision. But there you have it. Okay. Breathing heavily from far too many close calls, you leave the hallway full of tripwires behind. There's some money on the floor, alongside a small note. Still waiting on art assets. Maybe if our director wasn't so busy demanding concept revisions, we'd have them by now, smiley face. Hee.
That is a hell of a thing to write into the game files. I hope they're doing all right.
You pocket the pile of money left by the disgruntled developer with a grunt of satisfaction. An illegal, and somewhat nonsensical, tripwire setup was dismantled today. You did good work here.
Dead end. Like the presentation of clowns, or the Guild of Clowns in the Discworld novels. I gotta go back and read those.
Wait, there was a guild of clowns?
I guess so. My experience with Discworld is a bit slapdash.
Hey, we just picked up the color of
Yeah,
magic.
we got the color of magic. We should see if we can ever get like DVDs or Blu-rays of the couple of like miniseries they did, because those were actually really good.
Yep, the British ones.
Oh, I can just press that. Okay, seek the honking.
Wait. Oh no, you don't have the calf injury yet.
Yep. I was hoping that our character would also just have foreknowledge, but no. We need developing calf injury to max out. Okay. Seek the silence.
As you begin to trudge down the remaining hallway, you realize that it ends in a dead end about 20 feet ahead of you. Contained in that 20 feet is a lot of nothing. A single door directly to your right seems to lead somewhere.
Knowledge of emptiness. Go down the empty hallway.
Oh, where did you acquire the knowledge of emptiness?
That was from just, it was the hallway of nights, I think. And we just got depressed because nothing happened.
Because it was lonely. Okay, sure.
The developers wouldn't make 2 empty hallways, would they?
You take a few steps into the empty hallway.
So many forgotten places. The poetry of silence, intentional and to naught.
At that moment, you enter an invisible trigger zone. A panel opens to your left, and a giant boxing glove on a spring knocks you through the opposite wall with a loud boing.
Boing, boing. Well, I guess we are going places.
Despite the monumental nature of your crash, the wall behind you shows no signs of your disturbance.
Gah, my head. Where am I?
A sign on the wall reads pie storage. Well, of course, pies, like cream pies.
Yep.
Sure enough, the walls of the room are stacked floor to ceiling with pies. What is your favorite pie, Wander?
Pecan.
Oh, you really
I really like
person.
pecan pie. A lot of fruit pies can be like too much. Like, I've never had a bad pecan pie. I've had a bad every other kind of pie. One where like the meringue had gone solid for lemon meringue, and that was
I
like,
do like lemon meringues.
Like, yeah, lemon meringue can be delicious, but it was like equal parts too lemony and not sweet enough, so it was kind of like acrid. And then you had just huck meringue on top that you had to like
no,
crunch
it needs
through.
to be soft and marshmallowy.
And that was rough.
Yeah, I do like key lime. I would have to say is one of my favorites. But if I had to eat only one pie for the rest of my life, I still think it would be pumpkin. Because pumpkin you could make probably savory or sweet if you think about it.
I guess for me, I prefer pumpkin pudding, as odd as that sounds.
Pumpkin pudding is essentially
It's
just
the
what's
same-
in pumpkin
It's the same
pie.
thing. I would rather use that crust on a different type of pie. Like, I like that filling, but I don't care for it as a pie.
Yeah, and you said the thing that makes key lime great is that you can use graham cracker.
Yeah, it's a graham cracker crust.
It is a graham cracker crust.
That's why I like cheesecake so much.
Yeah, cheesecakes also use graham crackers.
Now,
So
is
those
cheesecake a pie? No. I mean, depends on how you do it.
Well, so the thing is, I would actually argue that it has more in common with a pie than it does with a cake, if only because, I mean, first off, they both still have to be baked for the most part, but it's one of those things where the consistency of it, I always associate
Well, yeah, it's
cakes
fluffy.
with more of the flour you know, like it's actually like a flour filling, whereas pies are usually more vegetable. Like I suppose with pumpkin and squashes and stuff, it would be either the vegetable or the fruit fillings, and then they can be usually they're augmented with creams because you don't put pumpkin alone. You actually put heavy cream and other things in with it too. So I'd actually say that cheesecake is a cheese pie.
Now, is cake a pie?
I would actually say it has more in common with a bread. Except breads are a little bit more Wheaties. Like what?
I'm just being obstinate on purpose.
Well, so the thing is, pies require crusts, and don't you notice that the cheesecake has a crust on the bottom? So we don't need to argue the semantics of various baked goods, but it's one of those things.
Cheesecake is a form of ice cream cake. Now we're cooking.
Wait,
baking.
Ice cream cake? No, I don't like ice cream cakes.
Now, is cookie cake even a real cake?
It's a cookie.
It's a cookie.
It's a cookie that they add that like is in the shape of.
Is a taco a sandwich? Yes. Is a burrito a sandwich? Yes.
I would consider it a wrap.
Is a wrap a sandwich? Yes. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Yes. I guess this is where all the pies in the game came from. Jeez, there's so many. Honk. Where's that coming from? Honk honk.
Well, actually, wait.
Yeah.
Okay, so thinking back to the bread versus the cake. Breads require yeast, right? But cakes
Do not.
don't. Yeah, so I think okay, so maybe
You cannot
I will,
rise a cheesecake. I don't know what that would do, and the idea of that scares me.
Right. So that's why
I need to try it. I want to put yeast in my cheesecake and let it rise for a while just to see what happens.
Okay, here's a good one. You know how we had it recently, the Japanese cheesecake?
Yeah.
That's actually a bread?
Yeah.
Or it feels like a bread? I don't know. There's so many. Okay.
That's a pie.
I'm
not scared, just in case you were wondering. I just had questions.
A pterodactyl wearing clown makeup. Wait, what? And you're covering him. Swoops down from above. It opens its mouth to screech. And in its place...
Honk!
Clownodactyl.
Clownodactyl. I'm back. Throw pies to take it down.
Okay, so yeah,
Damn,
I will
I
take
didn't bring
back
a gun.
my previous assertion that cakes have more in common with bread than they do with pies. But I will say, though, that the flour ratio in a cake is more reminiscent to what you might have in bread. However, the bread is distinct because it does need to be kneaded and has the yeast as an activating agent.
Disappointed that I cannot consume the clownodactyl.
Yeah, you can't consume. Well, I think it's because you haven't picked up the trait or whichever one was required.
No, I definitely do have that trait. It's just...
It's just not in use.
Yeah.
What does eating the pie do?
It clears their symbols, so they can't use them. But I take a damage for it.
Oh,
Which, if we see it get to this point, I'm going to eat a pie. I'll take 1 damage, but he has no symbols.
The weird thing about these kind of cream pies is that they don't really have much for filling, do they? They're meant to be as light as possible and so that they don't cause damage to someone's face.
As far as I know, they're not edible in the slightest.
It's just a bunch of whipped cream, essentially, in the pie shell. I wonder how pie became the thing that people would fling at each other.
I don't know. It's probably just purely a result of a movie.
I suppose it would be cleaner than things like tomatoes or eggs.
Yeah.
The traditional things that people would fling at someone. Yeah, because a tomato would seem like a waste.
And it would stain.
Yes, it would definitely stain. Same with an egg. I can't imagine the yolk would be that easy to get out. Though I suppose it's mostly cholesterol and fats, so maybe? Clownodactyl.
It used to be paper plates of shaving cream. Yeah, that's what I thought. Stuff like that.
Wait, what? I mean, I knew that shaving cream was something that they would use instead.
That's what we used in elementary school.
Ew.
Yeah, it was gross.
Why would you want that on your face? You couldn't
Because it
even
was
lick
easier
it
to,
off.
well, yeah, but it was easier to clean up than like sticky, sugary like cream.
Yeah, the sugar would get everywhere.
Yeah.
But I would assume for the face, like pie in the face, you would want
yeah, it was
to be...
disgusting. We were very much like discouraged from trying to eat this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really remember the context for why we had shaving cream on paper plates. It was some kind of clown thing as a kid. But there were no clowns present, so it was confusing. And doesn't stick in my memory well because it was 30 years ago.
Yep. As the Clownodactyl falls out of the sky, its limbs stretch and contort in every direction as physics take over.
If that's not a bug, I don't know what it is.
You breathe a sigh of relief and head back toward the bar, hoping that you've seen the last of Clown Alley. That's when you notice the vault door, imposing and metal. You get the feeling it's locked tight.
Try the door. Wally's Folly. Open the door. Try
Oh wait,
the door.
Wally's Folly, but you've encountered Wally before.
Who?
Wally.
The little, I'm going to kill you with my gun.
Oh, that's Wally?
That's Wally.
Huh. We'll have to go back and interact with him some more. Give him money, maybe.
Oh, if we give him money?
Yeah.
But if it's Wally's Folly? I don't know.
Try the door.
The door simply does not yield. The crank doesn't turn. You knock on the door and you can tell it's thick. They emphasized that word, so I had to say it. Thick.
Okay, shop. Get another large slot. Here, one of those with us. Okay. So there's more to that. But we gotta get Wally's Folly.
Well, you had to get a calf injury. And
yeah.
then you also had to figure out what
I'm
Wally...
gonna try something kind of silly for a moment.
You could give him money, considering. Well, wait, this is...
No, we've already fought this
That's
thing.
the zombie T-Rex.
So, I wanted to go back to the point where we're outside. Oh. Maybe it's here? Because there might be something this early on.
Really?
Maybe. I forget. I know
Well,
it's supposed to
there's
show
something that can part
branches.
there.
Yeah. Okay, so this is if we had more than 35 HP.
Oh.
But this
more
will get us to Wally. Because this is where we first encounter the Hunkins.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to get past them to get to Wally. Yeah. So we're going to have to do an encounter, then this one. See if we can get something else from Wally while we're here.
Okay.
There's no bonus dialogue, so I can't batoggan at them. Oh, well.
Yeah.
The pie in
That's
the
too bad we
face.
didn't end up finding the lore tidbits that were necessary to fight them, but
Yep.
maybe
Oh.
that would have just made the game
Never
longer.
mind. I already got all the literature ends the encounter.
Oh, you just can skip it.
Sick.
There we go, the laundry room.
Huh. Make money for that. Okay.
There he is. Wait, Sue. Wait, did you use your authoritative voice or
I
attack?
will again. Because I could just attack it immediately. Same thing. So the pie in the face gag goes back to a 1913 film called Noise from the Deep. It was improvised on set on the fly.
Noise from the deep sounds insidious.
Huh. Oh, I can't consume this little guy.
Like, noise from the deep sounds like a horror film in which there's something at the bottom of a well or a cavern system or an underground bunker. Not
Yeah. It's definitely dark for a 1913 film, but eh.
I think the oldest film I had seen was maybe that. Oh, it was one of the ones with the demons and the witches in it that was maybe Swedish. Something along those lines.
Yeesh.
One of the first full-length movies, though, was Fritz Lang's Metropolis.
I've never seen it. Probably should.
I mean, it's classic. Was it 1927 or 1929? I have to look that up. But it was still the 20s. And I don't know. It has a good message, though it kind of lost the plot in the second act a little bit. Because at first it starts off with just a very clear-cut, oh, you know, here's a guy who lives in this glorious city of Metropolis, you know, and he's living in the upper echelon of this society and has no wants. He's with a respected, wealthy family, etc. Completely heedless of all of the people that are toiling down below the surface, working at the machines to make this city function. So very much a criticism of the working versus the owning class in that respect. And yeah, he does fall for a young woman who, I think she was the daughter of a scientist or something, and she was starting to foment a rebellion of the folks that worked down in the depths of Metropolis at these giant machines that looked like dials and such, and they were moving them with their arms. And some of them were actually collapsing in fatigue, you know, and stress, and then they would just have to be replaced at the wheels. And I think the main character even tried working down there for a while, and he realized just how difficult the work was, too. But yeah, then there was this thing about this other mad scientist. I don't know if it was the other mad scientist or what was going on, but there was a guy who was this roboticist, and he decides to make an evil version of the female character. I think it's because he loved her, but she didn't return his feelings. And remember, this is a silent film, so you only really got everything had to be acted out or shown with just those little text blurbs in between scenes or to take the place of dialogue. But yeah, and she ends up creating this cult around her. And she is the machine that you see in all of the Metropolis posters and such, the robot.
It amuses me to no end that this is the second time I've fought this guy.
And it's
he's
harder.
Kicking my ass harder.
Oh no.
Like, I'm getting clobbered by Wally this time around. He just had like a couple of rounds where he just got non-stop combos and there was nothing I could do to stop it. See? Little turd just goes infinite constantly. Okay. Let's see. All I need is some blue at least. At least I can take his gun away constantly. Yoink.
Yeah, but what made that part of Metropolis weird was that they were playing the robot in the form of the woman, because eventually she does get to look exactly like the woman. So she's not as stiff. You understand what I mean? And she ends up turning the people into her followers. And one of the ways in which she does it is there's this whole dance number where she's in this really revealing, almost like a belly dancer outfit, and she's dancing. and that enthralls all of the working men. And I don't know. As I said, it gets weird after that point. I suppose I don't need to give away the ending, but it's one of those things where, yeah, I'll have to go back and watch it, and maybe we should watch it together. I think we could have picked it up from the library, but it wasn't in a good case. It may have even been a DVD someone burned, and so I was like, no, I don't want this one from the library sale. I did pick up Them, which was a movie from the 1950s about giant ants. And it still holds up.
I thought it was kind of okay.
Yeah, but it was definitely one of those movies that solidified the, oh no, something mysterious is afoot. But there's monsters. And though I think they did reveal the monsters a little bit too swiftly. Oh. Okay, so Bloody and B, what do you want? Okay, so you're going to give him the...
Just gonna give him the money this time
cash.
around. I could also try bargaining with it, but...
Oh, wait, we haven't tried bargaining, have we? Wait, the dinosaur hands you keys. Wait.
Hands you a key and walks down the hallway.
What now?
Wait. What now? Can I have your gun?
The dinosaur shrugs and with reckless disregard for firearm safety chucks the weapon at your feet. With the guard out of the way, you can finally make your way to the prison cell. Oh, so you didn't get the folly.
Yeah. Wally's Folly might show up later because
Unless
we got
Wally's Folly is the gun, but I don't think it is. Okay, so do you want to treat him differently?
I'm gonna be a dick to him. See what happens without the Filbert route.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Then you grab the soup and shove it into your inventory. Oh.
Oh, you motherfucker.
The sound of your body glitching to a location elsewhere stifles the rest. As the world turns to darkness around you, Evil JJ's glare is cold. Even though you can't hear anything, you understand him perfectly. This isn't over. And then the world is gone again.
Oh. Well. Nothing from that one.
Okay, so this is just the soup
I bet
again.
Wally's Folly is probably later.
Really? When are we going to encounter Wally again?
I don't know, but we did give him an hourglass, so it might be one of those where we really have to come back later. Let's see. Quickfire pistol. Blam 3 damage. Probably doesn't take up a turn. Another... Let's not fight Wally again because holy smokes, that little sucker's mean. The only other option well, I mean, I could check out the lab, but no, we don't have thief fingers yet. But I think there's something we can do in the lab.
Ooh, lab rat.
So I want to try following the hum. Gather your bearings. Oh.
No, you need the health.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the issue, that I need to invest more into my max HP.
You don't have thief hands.
Yeah. So do we have anything else? Oh. Wait, no, we've already done this one.
You've done the hacker blood. Oh, nope, that takes...
And then it just brings you back. Yeah, so the other routes require me to have thief hands and...
You could treat the clones differently.
Yeah. True. Okay. That was hacker blood, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was lab rat.
Awakened. You haven't been awakened yet.
Yeah, okay. Fortunately, we have to wait for all of the preamble first.
Mm-hmm.
This is
you can guess the password.
Yeah, but it would just end the encounter.
Oh, but then we haven't gone into the clone room.
That's not the clone room.
Oh.
Lab rat takes us to the clone room.
Oh, all right.
Okay. So we have a couple of options. We have the one where we just give in.
Give into the presence, and then there's destroying the clones. Because you ate them the other time.
Yeah. Okay, looks like we don't have anything. I do have the quick fire pistol. Huh. I didn't do Rage Against Your Nature the last time.
Harvesting from 3x3 block.
Yeah. I think I was too focused on other things. That is actually quite good. I was hoping there would be a just very quick ending on this one, but it's fine. We're just gonna go a little insane. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's really interesting though, talking about all those films and how at this point some of them are a century old.
Yep. And a lot of them are also just gone forever. That's
Yeah.
always weirded me out a little bit, just in terms of like.
Well, there's probably innumerable books that have been lost.
Yep. Well, so much of it was because they were harvesting the old film reels for. It was rare metals that.
Silver.
Yeah, I think it might have been silver for the war effort. And so, yeah, a lot of those just went poof. And that's always been.
Yeah, because really old photographs use silver.
Mm-hmm.
I forget if it's like a silver nitrate or something else.
Yeah. Touching my mind.
But yeah, if you think about it, I mean, books have been around for centuries. And then you have film, which has only been around for about a century. And then you have video games, which have, I don't know, if they started off in what? The 70s, right?
Yeah. Technically the late 60s, but really it was the 70s when things started to kick off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I grew up playing a 1976 or 1977 Atari. So, and that's the thing. When it came to movies that I watched as a child, aside from all the hits of the 90s, because, you know, that's when we grew up, I also grew up with a lot of 80s films because my dad collected all of the, especially the sci-fi films from that time. I think, you know, Alien and Terminator and things like that. Star Wars, the original theatrical versions that you can't get a hold of anymore. But yeah, I grew up watching a lot of 50s films. Because also 50s, that was a great time for science fiction. And the 60s, of course, if you know, you have Star Trek, the original series. Yeah, just thinking about how those are pretty old. And even what we experienced as children is decades old now.
Yep. That's how quickly everything has advanced, yet how slow it is. I mean, I think it's slow in comparison to, like, human history, but...
Well, it's astonishing if you think about what? Has writing only existed for 3,000 years?
Something like that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that really helped with the record keeping, and everything before had to be verbally told.
Yeah, which severely limits...
Maybe illustrated to an extent. But then, you know, agriculture only existed so many thousands of years before that, I think. So when it comes to technological advancement and quality of life, yeah, things have gone incredibly fast in just the last few centuries. Because if you think about it, we've had, say, naval vessels for over 1,000 years, right? The Romans and the Greeks were going around in giant boats. But you didn't really have them spanning the oceans.
No.
Except, I suppose...
They traveled pretty far.
I thought the Vikings were able to reach the, very
Newfoundland,
northernmost parts of North America. And that was probably in 1,000. Right? 1000 AD?
I don't remember.
Not something that they necessarily want to teach in school. They still want the
1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue.
Yeah, but Columbus sucks.
I know. Which is, yeah. But it's one of those things where it really, I absolutely love history. So looking back on all of the peoples and the things that they created and how they've been, iterated upon all this time. But like what we were talking before about video games plateauing, do you think technology, or at least useful technology, has plateaued?
Yeah. I mean, for a while. I'd argue a lot of that probably boils down to most of the people in charge of our technological development are no longer interested in actual technological development. They're just interested in money, which changes the motive and therefore changes.
And so much
what's
money
being
making
focused
now
on.
is in a purely digital environment, not anything mechanical,
Yeah.
if you understand what I mean.
I mean, like, if we want to talk about, boy, this guy's just spinning endless wheels at me.
Oh no. You're okay.
Hey, I mean, if we want to contextualize things within video games, somewhat weird statement to make. How many developers focused over the years purely on just like graphical fidelity and forgot to make a very good game? And like that did result in a lot of really good games. Not to fully besmirch.
I think that what has been a little bit more pervasive as of late is finding out new business models, ways to extract more cash.
Well, yeah.
So that's why you're getting the subscription, live service.
I mean, it's just
add-on
chasing
buy.
live service is really the answer. Oh, bless it. There's actually a bee here. This guy keeps doing
And then, of
stairs
course,
to
there's a bunch of folks that are like, we don't need game developers anymore. The games will make themselves. And that, I think, would be a complete travesty because
It would just be mush.
it would be mush, but so much of the joy of consuming any piece of media is that you're experiencing something that someone lovingly crafted that reflects their own interests, their own ideas.
There's no way you could generate this game. Like, no game generator would be able to just fart this out because it just wouldn't get it.
But also, would you even want to consume something that was generated? And I would say no, not at all.
If it's like tangentials or something. Well, so like procedural generation in a video game, roguelikes and stuff.
Well, so long as the procedural generation is throwing things out that the developers created.
Yeah. And so like within that bounds, it's kind of a little bit easier to say like, yeah, sure, I could do that because
Even then, I still prefer handcrafted levels, ones with a lot of intentionality behind them.
Oh, yeah.
Like this object was placed here for a very specific reason.
the thing with
or-
procedural
Oh,
generation is you put up with it rather than you truly enjoy it.
And you see, I grew up with a number of point-and-click adventure, mystery, you're finding items and solving puzzles in the environment thing, and almost every object in those games had to be placed in a manner that served not only and I'm thinking back to games when you didn't even have a camera that you could control. So by having fixed camera perspectives, you're essentially creating a scene, you're creating an illustration almost of the environment.
Oh yeah, going back and playing some of the old Final Fantasy games, like going from Final Fantasy X to Final Fantasy 12 actually was kind of it messed with me a little bit because as cool and as good as like 12 looked, 9 and 10 for me had a much stronger aesthetic feel because they're a fixed camera perspective.
And even thinking to Resident Evil, which this game is clearly kind of riffing on, we were playing the original version of Resident Evil 1 versus, all the more recent titles that have the over-the-shoulder, shooter mechanics and such. And I'm thinking that it actually felt better, more claustrophobic, more frightening to have those fixed camera angles and knowing that if you walk through a door, what's the camera angle going to be? Are you going to be walking forward in the hallway?
Yeah, are you going to have to panic and figure out how to aim at something? Okay.
Okay.
So this time we can let it in. Let's let it in.
Ooh.
It swirls in your mind, getting louder and louder, and then
Huh?
You're staring at a cloning tank. It's empty, save for a clear liquid that, in other tanks, is suspending parts of various clones. You have no recollection of why you might be standing here, of any place in the room. Looking towards the far end of the chamber, you spot a cloning vat next to a bizarre array of computer terminals. This is what you're looking for.
Okay.
So this is where you're pouring the soup in? Oh,
Yeah, so we tried eating the clones last time. Let's release the clones.
release them.
Trait progressed.
The
Clone
cloning
liberator.
Okay. You slap the release button with your free hand, opening all the tanks in a cacophony of goo and screeching metal. Assorted body parts spill out of the tanks, writhing and pulsating, as do a few half-assembled JJs. Some of them scream. The few JJs that are fully put together look around confused, unsure of the world around them. You hope they're ready to face what's out there, and that you are too. Satisfied with your decisions, you let the glitch consume you, transporting you back to the bar.
Huh. So I bet we can get a clone destroyer perk as well if we go the other direction.
Wait, you skipped the dialogue.
We've already done this dialogue.
Okay, are you
Yeah,
sure?
none of this is new. Now to create a rival cult. So I could technically do that a third time to see a third or even a fourth time, because I think there's 4 options there. Let's see. Yeah, we're maxed out. Where the heck do you get mutagen from?
Probably from new encounters.
I don't know. I guess we should just probably continue on. I think we're kind of hitting some upper limits here.
Okay, what's this room?
Well, this is after the game ended, and JJ has decided to release the game himself and find the wizard.
With no further direction, you let your eyes wander around the bar. A wooden door you never noticed before now grabs your attention. It looks perfectly ordinary, except for the symbol of an eye etched into its frame. Ooh, I love eye symbols.
Fork in the road.
Entranced, you approach the door and run your fingers over its etching. A muffled voice can be heard from the other side. You can't make out the words, but the intent is clear. You need a password. Hunkin, meanwhile, continues to tend the bar, his manual of debug functions tucked safely under the counter.
Take the manual.
You sidle up to the bar and drum your fingers on the polished countertop.
So, our arrangement is complete? You're just done talking to me? I believe that was clear.
Hunkin turns to focus on something in the opposite direction as he speaks. Seizing the opportunity, you lunge across the bar and reach for the mysterious tome.
Hey, stop that! Grand Theft Manual.
Grand theft. This is probably how you get the thieving hands.
Take manners and the manual into your own hands. I love that pun. That's
Don't let
so
progress hit 0 and reach 100 progress to win. He can take progress away from you?
good. Yeah,
Or
there have been a couple of challenges like that. So, destroys all your book symbols. You can struggle, but he's surprisingly heavy. Prevents you from using actions for a turn. So, outmaneuver Hunkin, 6 books, progress. We can also vault over the bar, which gets me a row of symbols, or destroy 20 random. Right.
so what do you want to go for?
So we want to prevent him from getting blues and greens.
And unfortunately, blues and greens are divided across your abilities. He doesn't require books, but books allows you to outmaneuver him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a lot of greens. Ooh. Look at all those go.
The combo. No, no books.
Oh no. He's getting some combos too. Many, in
That
fact.
he is.
I'm trying to think of other names that start with HU, and the only one I can think of is Humphrey. And I suppose Hubert.
I think the name Hunkin is kind of inspired for this.
I mean, definitely a take on Duncan, but with hunk.
Yeah,
Though he doesn't look like a hunk.
not really. Damn. You getting combos. I am not as much. I guess we can vault over the bar.
That's a lot of oranges.
Delaying the inevitable.
Ooh,
Or causing
no,
problems.
You can do the lunge.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I can harvest a row of symbols.
An entire row of symbols.
Yeah.
Well, you only have 2 books at most in any of
Yeah,
the
this
roles.
isn't working too hot for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when he gets those big combos, I am not in a good way. Minigun.
What?
Book.
Uh-oh.
That's okay. We're just back where we started.
Ooh. Look at that, with all those wilds.
This is going places.
Whoa. Keep it going.
Apparently. Okay, destroys all book symbols. So he's going to take these away from me. Let's see an easy anything.
Mm-hmm.
We have a row with a couple.
And you have exactly enough to do 2 of the book actions.
Yep. Yeah, because he's going to destroy all book symbols, but that's fine. Now I can outmaneuver him twice. I'm going to start with that for a moment. Some like, yeah. Some fun combos here. Alas.
Mm-hmm. He can act, and you can act on all yours,
Gonna
too.
vault over the bar. Going to those. Okay, I can work with lunge. Because, yeah, he only destroys 3 book symbols. That's manageable. I really like those wild card symbols. Those are fun when you can pull them off. Big emphasis on win.
Okay, so what are you going to do?
Yeah, book. I'm just prepping so I can outmaneuver him a bunch of times. I want to stay above the threshold, but I'm not, like, rushing. Because I don't currently need to. One way or another, we are absolutely going to beat him to the punch. I have almost 3 books worth of progress prepped. No!
Uh-oh. There they go.
It's fine. We'll get more. There's a couple. Because he can't lunge multiple times. He doesn't have the juice for it.
You better start acting lest he remove that percentage too much.
I mean, it's fine. The main thing I want to do is make sure that he can't delete too many books.
Mm-hmm.
There's a good vault over the bar before he deletes all of them. Greetings from Germany. Greetings.
Hello.
Let's see. I can outmaneuver him some more, but I don't think that's going to make a difference for a moment. There's a bunch of books.
I think both of us have a degree of German ancestry.
Yep.
Yep. Really, mine is a hodgepodge of much of Europe. With my one side of the family being mostly the northwestern part of Europe and my other side of the family being the southeastern portion of Europe. So because for me it's Greek, Italian, German. There might be some Austrian in there. And then we have maybe French, British, Irish, Dutch.
Combo. Yes. Oh,
Whereas I suppose what Wanderers differs is that he has a bit of Swedish and Finnish.
I didn't know I had Finnish, but I guess it makes sense. If you got
Your mom
Swedish,
said so.
Swedish in your genealogy, you absolutely have Finnish in your genealogy. It's almost no way you don't. There we go. That took some doing.
You wrench the manual from Hunkin's grasp and dive under a table, frantically leafing through the pages. Hunkin grabs you by the ankles and pulls.
Give me that book, lad, before you do something you'll regret. I have to release our game. You don't understand. It's too dangerous.
There. Deprecating a file. You tear the page from the manual just as Hunkin successfully yanks you out from under the table.
Eat the page.
What? You... Oh no! Feral.
Hell yeah.
Acting on instinct, you wad the page into a ball, stuff it in your mouth, and swallow. That's not something that you can get out the other side, though. It's not like a piece of jewelry or a coin or something special that... Well, those are very dangerous. Don't ever swallow anything.
Yeah.
But, like, I know that people have done that as a plot point in movies, specifically to deprive someone else of an object. And they're like, you can't take it from me unless you cut my stomach open. And sometimes the villain says, oh, I will.
Gets the knife.
But no, a piece of paper, that's gonna be gone. Unless you can somehow, in this game, digest the contents of the page and understand it, it just gets absorbed into your very being. I think that knowledge is lost to you. At first, nothing happens. You and Hunkin stare at each other in disbelieving silence. Then, your spine starts to tingle. Moments later, the world goes dark.
That
Oh no, a weird elevator. You're staring at a strange, black, crisscrossing pattern. A thick black line runs directly down the center, dividing your vision.
Oh, we've warped into El Paso elsewhere. Whoops.
Uh-oh. You refocus your eyes. You're standing in front of a grate. No doors?
I'm in an elevator.
Blue light streams through the holes in the grated entryway, filling the elevator with a gentle and eerie light. It softly illuminates the dull sheen of the surrounding walls. The rest of the mansion is nowhere to be seen.
What is even out there?
The elevator lurches. A display above the door shows different floors with an arrow pointing to the one that you're currently on. Based on the image of the duck it's pointing to. The duck?
Yep.
A duck?
Apparently.
Well, what does a duck have to do with anything? You realize that you're far from any traditional mapping scheme. This floor and this elevator are broken. Without warning, the elevator plummets. Your organs surge towards your throat as you wedge yourself into a corner and brace for impact. Crash.
I'm back at the bar?
The vein in Hunkin's forehead would burst if he clenched his teeth any harder.
You imbecile! What did you think would happen? This bar teleports you wherever you go. Now, thanks to your complete lack of foresight, I'm trapped down... Oh, bar teleports wherever you go. Now, thanks to your complete lack of foresight, I'm trapped down here with you. I hope you're happy. Actually, yeah, I am. I'm a little happy. It's nice to see a friendly face, right? Just take what you need and get out. Music got really jaunty for a second there.
Yep. You return to the elevator. The panel next to the door sparks violently. Each button seems to lead to a piece of cut content. Ooh. There's an open, there's an emergency call. You don't have engineering. You do have the wizard.
Open the doors.
You press your forefinger to the button. The grated door shutters open in compliance. Proceed. You exit the elevator to emerge in the center of a mansion hallway and realize that your elevator has disappeared behind you. The hall splits in 3 directions. Ooh, library, kitchen, basement, library.
Can't go wrong with the library.
Yep. I would go for a library. That'd be the first thing I'd go to in any game. Or mansion, I should say. Tables and chairs are scattered across the room, with assorted additional reading nooks inviting you to grab a book and get lost in it.
Okay, I'm going to point this out.
Yep.
This is the size of one of the armchairs, which is roughly the size of this book. That book could kill a man. It's a monster book. I know it doesn't matter. They're just drawing quickly. Because drawing library books
I don't
is
know.
a nightmare.
It would be about a foot tall. Yeah, or 2 feet.
No, that's probably like two feet tall and about a foot thick.
You can definitely get a book that's almost 2 feet tall, though.
But a foot thick?
No, that's a little bit much. But hey, you've seen some giant Bibles and encyclopedias before.
Not a foot thick.
Yeah, look at the one that's underneath my parents' foyer table.
Ugh.
It was a gift from my aunt.
Still could kill a person at that height.
I think it's an encyclopedia that you have to have a magnifying glass to read, and one was provided with it. It is that condensed, and it's still about a foot thick. Maybe not a foot. Maybe it's more like 6 inches, but still. It's half a foot, right? This kind of library is a rich... This is the kind of library a rich person has, full of books they unfailingly love to talk about, but have largely never read.
It's like our board game collection.
I was about to say that.
I knew you were going to say that.
Hey, we have played about 56%.
That's pretty good, actually. More than most people.
Except we have acquired about 10 new games recently, so that number has probably gone down to 50 or less.
Hey, our wall of shame is mostly filled with large adventure games that we'll totally get to it someday.
Mm-hmm.
And small games that we might not. We'll see.
Behind a nearby bookshelf, you begin to hear uneven, halting footsteps. Bumping and scraping. Oh, this looks like a blob. A strange mass oozes into view.
What the?
What is? Oh gosh, are they a clone, a failed clone or something?
I'm getting hungry.
Oh no. Parts of its body are unusually bent and flattened, as if a skeleton were wearing the wrong muscles.
Are you here to kill me? I don't think so. Oh, that's a shame. I'm so messed up, man. You probably couldn't find my hip boxes if you tried. How long have you been like this, if you don't mind me asking? As long as I can remember. But I'm used to it now. I stay moving. My walk cycle hurts the least. It's the loneliest that's hardest to bear. Nobody wants to be seen with a freak.
How would you be seen by anyone in this mansion? There's only a few inhabitants.
Even in the deprecated files? I'm sorry. I'm probably talking way too much. Do you mind finding a gun and trying to shoot me now? Anatomically correct. Fix the bug.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Well, we don't have that yet.
Raises confidence. For what it's worth, you don't seem like a freak to me. Please don't patronize me. I know what I am. No, I mean it. We're two people having a normal conversation. You didn't jump out and try and kill me, which is more than I can say for most of the folks I've met here.
Most of the folks he's met have been dinosaurs.
You seriously seem like a great guy. I'm sorry you're in such a rough situation. I don't know what to say. No one's ever been this nice to me before. You don't need to say anything. I have to keep looking for the wizard, but hopefully I'll see you around. Wait.
Awful. Wait, they're just gonna call him Awful? Awful takes a deep breath. The pained grunt, he extends one of his limbs towards a nearby bookshelf. He manages to grab what he was looking for and drop it to the floor. With another breath, he flails again, knocking the object in your direction.
I can't help you very much, but maybe this will be of some use to you. Thank you, sincerely. Oh, thank you for seeing me.
Oh, emotional intelligence, complete. And have you also got a vacuum?
Yep. Here's hoping we can talk again sometime.
Awful lumbers back through the bookshelves, continuing his endless shuffle, but feeling more human than he has in a long time.
Well, that was cute.
Yeah.
We have an industrial vacuum. Ooh, probably better than the quickfire pistol. I should probably use the quickfire pistol. We just haven't been fighting anything with a health bar lately.
It says end of branch reached, but it doesn't have an end.
Oh, it's because we need to get anatomically correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm gonna keep going into the hallway first.
Oh, right, there's the kitchen.
Yep.
Yeah, because there's the kitchen and
Raid
there's
the
the
kitchen.
basement.
I guess I could go for a snack. We're back here again, kind of.
The kitchen appears to be fully, eternally stocked. Pots and pans hang around the room, reflecting your face from a variety of angles. But look at all the horrifying vegetables
Yep.
crawling out of the oven. That carrot, that broccoli in the midst of being cleaved in two.
Yep.
And also there's that lettuce with a smile, and then that onion and that tomato. Look at them hiding in the pots and pans.
Oh, yeah.
Stepping forward, large, bright red letters appear in front of you.
Horde mode.
A sinister hissing behind you catches your attention. Oh, wait, that one has hair. No, they have hair. You whip around to find a dinosaur with flowing blonde hair crouched down, poised to strike.
Ah!
Shh. Quiet.
A horde of vegetables flood into the room, chlorophyll dripping from their gnashing teeth.
I just want to know what's going on.
You'll learn soon enough. Stick with me, newbie.
I think that's the sexy dinosaur from the last game. The carrots are coming.
The carrots!
Match knives to deal damage. What does the vacuum
You've done
do?
all the meat eating this time. I can munch on some carrots. As a Parasaurolophilus. I still don't know how many LOs there are in Parasaurolophilus. I would think it would just be Parasaurolophilus, but I need to look at how it's spelled.
This thing's only ability is to stress me out.
Mhm.
Well, that makes my life easy.
Yeah, so an interesting fact, I suppose. Wander and I are, I would say, 80% vegetarian.
Yeah.
We still have eggs. We still have dairy products. And we do occasionally eat meat, though usually it's only at, a friend's party or a family gathering or something where you don't want to turn it away or something like that. Oh, you already defeated them?
Yeah, they were pretty easy compared to most other things.
But it's one of those things where I read this whole book called The Light Eaters. It was great. And it talked about it was actually just compiling together a bunch of interesting studies that a lot of scientists had done about plant communication and plant intelligence, kind of whatever form of intelligence they have that isn't quite the way that we humans think of, like sentience and intellect and things like that. It's definitely of a different sort, but the amazing things they can do and communicate to one another. And I thought one of the things that was interesting was that a lot of bacteria are used to bind nitrates or nitrogen to the roots of these plants, and that there are some plants that can collectively say, hey, bacteria colony on one of my roots, you're not doing enough. You're not as efficient as another a colony of bacteria on a different root of mine. So I'm going to deprive you of oxygen, and
they
you
can
will
starve
die.
them out. They can also like trade with mushrooms. It's wild.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Plants are way cooler than we give them credit for, and they're already cool.
Yeah, so I was actually, chopping up vegetables and stuff recently, and I'm realizing that especially onions and potatoes and things of that nature, they're alive. Did you ever think about that?
Yes.
They're still alive.
Yep.
And I'm cutting them up.
Yep.
Like they're growing roots. They're trying to expand themselves.
Yep.
I suppose the thing is I feel less bad about, say, peppers and tomatoes and things of that nature because they're already...
Fruit's less of a problem,
well,
kind of, sort of.
They're meant to be eaten. The fruit wants you to eat them, except we just end up defecating into a toilet and actually don't spread their seeds. So we're just taking from them and not really giving back. But I suppose if they're farmed, then they're still being propagated, even if it's not the way that they intended. But in either case, peppers and tomatoes and things of that nature, fruits and things, those are intended to be eaten. But yeah, I feel bad for the root vegetables. And some of the leafy greens, too, if you think about it, especially if they have the roots still attached to them. Those hydroponic grown cabbages and lettuces and stuff that you can get sometimes. Because all those are still alive. And we're chopping them up. But I suppose, once again, there is that difference, that disparity of, well, there's animals, which you can treat as pets, and they can be very affectionate, and they can be as intelligent as, say, your dog or your cat. And then there's the plants. And so, it's definitely...
In the order of things that I feel guilty about eating, plants rank pretty low.
Yeah. And the thing is, at that point...
Lamb ranks real high.
Of things you feel bad about.
Clones, bottom.
Clones.
All right.
No. Okay.
Who are you? What are these things?
I'm Fangs, and these are vegetables.
Why are vegetables attacking us?
Because Domino Killfather's genetic experiments extended beyond dinosaurs into the foods they ate.
Aren't some dinosaurs carnivores?
That would just be more dinosaurs, though, wouldn't it? Okay.
One of the publishing executives felt that walking steaks were distasteful. Now, watch out.
Vegetable horde.
Another.
So are we vegetarian because we love animals or because we hate plants?
Look at that garlic. Oh, my. Oh.
I don't know about you, but that garlic's going down.
And as I said before, we're not entirely vegetarian. I think for us, it's a number of factors. For one, there's health reasons that by eating animal products, a lot of research has gone into saying, higher in cholesterol and fats and stuff. And there are members of, I think, both of our families that have dealt with things like heart disease and high cholesterol and stuff. And so if you can avoid that extra unnecessary intake, then that's one reason. I think the other two is that with farm-raised animals and such, there's also the concerns about hormones, particularly stress hormones, which is something that you never really hear about. Where imagine if you're eating an animal that has been in a horrific environment, essentially not having any place to sleep or graze or have exercise and such, and how unhealthy they must be. And so if you're eating an unhealthy animal, what could be in them when it comes to, I suppose, once again, those like stress hormones,
chemicals and hormones and
chemicals and hormones.
For me, it's mostly just environmental, and I mean health issues.
Well, yeah.
But
And going on to the environmental bit is that just all of the resources and water and land and everything.
Considerable portion of climate change is somewhat due to the meat industry. It's not great.
Yep. So it's one of those things where,
for us, it's just easy to cut meat out of our diets for the most part.
Well, yeah, and once again, I would say that it's more of the health and the contributing less to the demand for meat, even if it's just piecemeal, like obviously a lot of people would have to be partially vegetarian. You know how people do like the meatless Mondays
Yeah.
and things like that. But it's one of those things where
It's just easy to avoid for us.
Yeah.
Meat replacements, at least in the US, are actually like fairly plentiful and good now. Like I had an Impossible Burger right before lockdowns in 2020 and legitimately changed my life in terms of my eating habits because that stuff's really good.
Yeah, we really like those burgers. Because it's not like the black bean burgers that you used to get in the past where it's like, oh, this just doesn't taste good. No, the new plant-based burgers, they taste really good. But then, yeah, for us, there is also that squeamish feeling of, you know, you just can't help
This was a cute critter at some point. You can't help but drive by like a field of cows and be like, oh yeah, those are all gonna get eaten at some point. That feels a little weird to me.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. In any case,
You mentioned Domino Killfather is in Killfather Island. Are we in creepy redneck dinosaur mansion too? Is this the Lazoria Prehistoria incident?
Sort of. When the developers started building the sequel you're presumably from, they built on the technology from the original games. Horde mode was an early prototype and didn't go very far, so it never got its own art.
Then where's Jack Breyer?
Dead and gone. He never even made it into Horde mode. The developers really wanted the sequel to be a clean break at one point, so his original files are all gone.
Brutal. There's just no end to them.
oh.
Tomato. Acid reflux. You damage for 3 to ow.
Hey, acid reflux. I know a number of people that have had to quit eating tomatoes specifically because
I have to be a little concerned about what I eat.
Mm-hmm.
Because acid reflux will mess me up.
The interesting thing about that is the best way to mitigate acid reflux is to eat lipids and calcium.
Yep.
So
I just have a massive thing of Tums.
Yeah, Tums is just the calcium part of that, but lipids wouldn't be fats, so...
I think, there's also something about bananas are really good for acid reflux.
Bananas.
Maybe I'm wrong about this, but I've definitely, like, had bad acid reflux and then just ate a banana and I was good to go.
The only thing I think about would be that they're starchier than most things.
Maybe.
Maybe starch can offset it.
Oh, I just killed him. Sick. Yeah, more ice cream. Yeah, ice cream is... it can depend. For me, too much sugar will also set it off. So, like, it has to be kind of a really creamy...
Well, that's why people use cheese.
Yeah, cheese.
Yeah, because cheese can offset.
Oh, bananas
tomatoes.
have a lot of calcium in them? Really?
Oh, they do? Oh, well, then that makes perfect sense. I always knew them to have, potassium? Was one of the major things people said, oh, yeah, bananas are best for potassium.
God, I hope that's the last of them.
It's not, but the next wave is a boss, so we'll be able to exit the run soon. Use the shop to restock while you can.
Don't you mean restock?
Restock? Get it?
No.
Well, at least it gets my health back up.
What do you think is going to be the vegetable boss lord?
Not sure. Bandages.
Do you think it's going to be a broccoli? We've seen many mini ones.
Yeah,
but
I don't think we've...
maybe Pumpkin King.
Ooh.
We'll have to see.
Ooh, different.
Oh, yeah, look at all the ones. Wait, that's a hot tub.
Bathing.
What?
This guy's creeping. He's in there doing something.
I'm surprised no one's roasting over that fire, but eh.
Welcome back. You ready? Our next opponent's not a pushover.
As ready as I will be. Did you know a lot about all this? Oh, you know a lot about all of this. What's your deal?
I used to run with Jack Breyer.
The realization hits you like a truck.
You're the sexy dinosaur companion. Damn it, JJ. You said the inside words on the outside.
Fangs gives you a confused look.
No, I mean, well, not I didn't mean that you're not attractive. Oh, wait, awakening.
Wait, it is a broccoli!
I hate to break up your little kitchen date, but I really do have to kill you. Oh, thank God. Wait, who are you? I'm Domino Killfather,
I knew it was going to be a broccoli.
ruler of this island and all that I survey. Is there a reason you're made of broccoli? The experiments. Right. Bring it on, Killfather. Defeat the villain of the previous game. But he's a broccoli this time. 30 HP. So it looks like he just has all the abilities from the last bit. Fair enough. Really hoping I could get something here. But yeah, I just don't have the power. Oh well.
I knew they were going to be broccoli. There's just something about broccoli.
That's sinister? Yeah.
Or regal, I would say. I think it's because they have that crest or that crown, as they refer to it as, at the top of their head. It almost resembles hair. Unfortunately, I'm being brought back to my childhood with the We Sing train. When the kids were going around on a talking train, and the train took them to a farm. And the farm had singing vegetables that all sang different genres of music and couldn't agree on singing together. And so broccoli was opera. She sang broccoli, 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 hey, broccoli, like that.
Why?
Well, she was the opera singer. And then there was red beet, red beet, red beet. And then there was, oh wait, I don't know why potato wouldn't have worked well with broccoli, because he's like brown potato.
Why?
And then there was orange carrot.
Why are they Pokemon?
What?
Are they Pokemon?
Oh, because they're singing their names. So yeah, orange carrot was country singer. We had opera broccoli.
I don't think it counts if you're only saying one word melodically.
Sorry, yeah, that was their entire song, and they would sing it on repeat, okay? But all together, they learned to sing, and it ended up making a really interesting melody. Obviously, I can't do that all at once because I don't have multiple voices or voice boxes. Never mind. You know what I mean. But
Just
in any
sing
case,
through your nose.
No. So in any case, they all sang together, and so whenever I see vegetables with faces and they're speaking and whatnot, I think of those vegetables. I don't want to mention the other vegetable-related television show or movie, because, yeah.
Wait, are we talking VeggieTales?
Yeah. I mean, it
was fine.
It was fine.
Deeply religious, but like
it was
fine.
The religious show.
I don't know. I think on a personal level, like, it's fine. It told fine stories. Even if it's kind of strange.
I don't know. The one with Nebuchadnezzar.
Maybe I just didn't see enough VeggieTales to, like, really have a deep connection to it.
They had him making and worshiping chocolate bunnies. And he's had a song about it. The bunny, oh, I love the bunny. I give everything that I had for the bunny. And it's just, it was so weird. And he was going to, I mean, I suppose it was what he had actually done in the tale, the throwing folks into the fire. Because they didn't believe in his god or something. I don't, I'll go back and I'll read the biblical context of it. I'm not gonna watch VeggieTales again.
Okay, this could be a problem. We will see. They were not kidding when they said that this was going to be hard. Unfortunately, a lot of my really cool combat abilities have been taken away from me. For unclear reasons. At least he's just yelling at me constantly. I can work with that. Problem is, a number of his abilities do, like, actually a lot of damage.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking him down, but it is a bit of a pain.
I can't think of much other media that really contains talking vegetables. Probably video games have a number.
Yeah. There was Tonic Trouble, back on the N64. There was Keen Dreams, which I don't actually know what platform that was on.
I swear there's probably a game out there where you grow collectible monsters and they're vegetables.
Yeah, I've played it. I don't remember. Doesn't stick in my memory that well.
There should be another one of that. Not necessarily vegetables, like recognizable vegetables, but I would love a game where you're growing plantimals.
Yeah.
So it'd be part farming sim and part monster collection, but with plant. The aesthetic of plantimals is just always intriguing. I think it's because the aesthetics of plants, they're just gorgeous. The way that they have all these leaves and petals, and it's a way to make the anatomy of a regular animal, like a mammal or whatnot, more alien. You understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's why for eldritch horror and stuff, you just say, well, this thing looks like a dog, but it has tentacles erupting from its back. You know, and now it's eldritch. And you go, oh, yes, yes, yes. Just add tentacles to anything and it will look eldritch. Otherworldly.
It's a really hard fight because one of the first things, or first enemies I fought in the game where the boss heals itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so a thing I've noticed about alien creature design is that you take two different, very dichotomous forms of animal wildlife. So for instance, yeah, as I mentioned before, mammals and cephalopods, pretty much as far as you can get on the scale of, you know, differences in anatomy and evolutionary biology and such, right? I mean, aside from microbacteria and other, although everyone's descended from that, I suppose, in the long run, so. But, and, you know, you can apply insectoid features to a reptile and. Oh no, I got the image of an arachnid mixed with a cat.
Mustache.
Or, not a mustache.
Bringing it back.
You can already have spiders with mustaches.
Hey, that one guy from Spirited Away. He was cool.
I wasn't envisioning him. I was envisioning anything from the Phidippus family. They're pretty hairy, and their fangs in the front look like the partition of a mustache. So, you know, mustaches and spiders they just go so well together, you know?
Giant pain in the ass.
So what do you need to kill him?
So much.
Well, now you have enough to heal. Wait, why is your health going down? Yeah, look at that.
Acid reflux, probably. I have just enough to heal, though. That's the problem I'm in. Oh, I needed that.
Yeah, what had happened was you got a lot of combos that ended up negating your own health.
Mm-hmm. It was because my turns would cause me to take damage.
Mm-hmm.
At least I'm getting just boatloads of combos, but... Okay, I just have to hit him with knives. Oh, we got that. That was hard, actually. There wasn't there a game like that recently called Formagia? Yeah, I heard it was really bad, though.
Oh, What?
It was, at least the art was by the fairy tale guy, but I just heard it was really uninspired.
Fromage. What does that?
Farmagia, as in like farm magia.
Oh, okay, makes sense.
You're breathing heavily. A blinking set of rectangles floats in front of you. One says continue, the other says save and quit.
I don't know what save and quit might take you back.
I don't know.
Continue is not a good thing to do after a boss fight where you're very weak.
Save and quit.
You mercilessly smash your fist into the save and quit button. The doors that the vegetables spilled from slam shut, leaving quiet in their wake.
Not bad, person with a name.
Oh gosh, my bad, I'm JJ.
Right. Good working with you, JJ. You slice a good carrot.
Thanks, that was surprisingly fun. It was nice knowing someone had my back for once. We make a pretty good team.
I guess we do.
You wanna come with me maybe? I'd love the backup.
I don't think that's for me. Even if I can survive outside this room, I have a bad luck with partners in the ATS.
Really? Oh. You didn't survive Killfather Island either, but people never talk about it.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
it's fine. That's just how games go sometimes.
Well, I'm sorry the game wasn't designed to have us work together, you know?
Yeah.
Fangs looks into the middle distance and then snaps back to the present, focusing their eyes on you with a wink.
I did have fun, though.
Me too. I'll, see you around, Fangs.
Here's hoping.
You open the door that leads back to the elevator. It begins to close behind you.
Stay sexy, JJ.
Your face turns red as the elevator door thunks shut.
Yes!
A
Yes.
deep red.
Yes!
Awakened.
Yes! Time to go ogle a poster.
Oh no.
Oh, that'll be a good way to end this stream off.
Looking at the hunky poster.
Oh. Before we go exploring, I should probably buy stuff.
Yeah, you should shop.
Uh,
Also, you have 5, so you can actually get a small slot.
We wanna
or
go
a
for the health.
boost.
the answer is we want to just crank our health up to 35 or higher.
Oh, because so many of the options.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that have
Yeah.
locked us off entirely.
Yep, definitely.
Ooh, the quiz should not have gotten rid of that quickfire pistol. Oh. Are you flirting with a dino? I'm making passes at a dino.
Wait.
Okay, so we want to look for a way out, crack the code. And then we want to approach the poster.
Approach the
Dot, dot, dot.
poster of the muscles glistening.
You approach the poster just to get a closer look.
For science. It's your job as an investigator. Right? Stretching your hand towards the poster, you find it fluttering from the wall at your merest touch, revealing a passage in the wall beyond. You squeeze yourself into the gap, cursing your bulging deltoids. Deltoids are up on your shoulders, by the way. On the other side, a familiar door awaits.
This is whole route?
Oh yeah, a bar.
Well, I guess let's see what's down this line. JJ is something else, man.
Oh,
Y'all.
look, it's a vent. You find a complex series of air ducts, crosswinds tickling your face from multiple directions. The mansion's ventilation system is now fully accessible to you and appears to be filled with treasure. Ooh.
Loot vents.
Vents. Trinkets in every shape and size, from rusted spoons to miniature statues of Jack Breyer, fill the ducts, with no apparent utility other than simply existing. This must have been where the developers stored the collectibles they planned to put into the game. Paths stretch in every direction, each appearing just as cluttered as the last.
Search for valuables.
A dead end.
Amongst the trove, you spot a recording device with an unnatural shimmer. A small red light blinks next to its speaker. What's the trait?
A recording enthusiast.
Well, you have to be that. You record every day of your life,
Yep.
practically. You press the play button and hear two tinny voices emerge.
So you got the manager place.
Why do you do both of these?
Menagerie. Jesus is there. He's not. The password is Shudo, but it's a secret. You're more observant than you let on.
Oh, wait, can you stop for a moment?
Yeah.
So this guy definitely has an accent.
Yeah.
So pseudo.
I'm just...
Do you
I'm
think-
not even going to try and come up with the accent. I'm just giving it whatever.
Oh, no, but what I'm wondering is it possible that pseudo is not spelled out the way that it's supposed to be? I suppose the thing is in this game you would choose the option as opposed to have to spell it out, so
Yeah.
you're probably okay, but...
Yep.
All right.
I also know you're looking for special things. I put the inside of the manager thing.
Put it inside the manager thing.
Things, entities, anything unique. Heck, right. Seems like you got everything worked out. What do you need me for?
You know that you're the only hunkin in the game who never gets sober. The only hunkin who cannot physically take the drink out of his hand.
Nope. Do now, though.
Of course. I'd like to give you a drink, hunkin. When you like a drink.
With a screech, the recording abruptly cuts off.
That voice. It sounded like an angry forest was breathing in my ear.
An angry forest. What would that sound like?
Not a clue. Well, we found something. A password, I guess. Biggest combo. Blech. Well, let's try going the other direction. That was not exactly as valuable as I was expecting it would be.
Mm-hmm.
Explore the ducks.
Well, you know the password
There's
now.
more. Okay, loot vents.
The network sprawls in all directions. You roam for several minutes before finding an interesting intersection. The duct to your right is filled with feathers. At the end of the duct to your left, a light glitters.
Friend of cryptid, say hi to Mothman.
Say hi to what?
So okay.
Bird expert, that was from the painting.
Yep,
a
let's
long
become a
time
bird
ago.
expert. Or be a bird expert. Investigate the duct blocked by feathers.
Probably a nest.
This is way more than I was expecting to find on the other side of a sexy poster, but hey.
To your trained eye, the solid mass of feathers blocking one passage is actually composed of many different types. Some feathers are strong and light, others dense and slick. And some can actually be moved, allowing you to push your way deeper into the feathery mass.
Feathered duck.
Find your path through the feathers.
Suffocating feathers. Oh boy. Deadly soft, 2 damage. Like an avalanche, but cozier. Harvest cloth symbols. Okay. So crawl through, 34%, and harvest a bunch. So it seems like mostly go for cloth.
You don't want it to suffocate you.
I mean, most of my progress is reliant on cloth.
Mhm.
Anyway. If I can find any good combos for it. Yeah. Not that I need blues for anything, but I do need the rest of that stuff, maybe.
Ooh, wow.
That's some-
8 combo.
Yep. Don't see any easy
How
combos.
much progress? Oh, 34.
Yep. It's not like this one's particularly challenging.
Such an odd number to choose, don't you think?
Yeah, well, it's 33.3, but they can't express that. It's a third of the progress.
Ah, because you'd always be 1 point shy
Mm-hmm.
if you got 333. So.
Yep.
Uh-huh. Okay, that makes sense. Suppose they didn't want to do decimals, so.
Yeah. Let's see. No good fabric combos.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll just crawl through. I have so many questions. That's okay, we have no answers.
Have you ever had a feather pillow?
Yes, I hated it. So my parents had feather pillows when I was a kid, but they weren't very good ones, and the pillowcases didn't keep the feathers in.
Oh.
Oh boy. But so the feathers would absolutely poke out like quill first.
Oh yes,
and
yes.
poke
They
you
would.
in the face, and I hated that so much.
Yeah, you would
They
think
al-
that
so-
they would trim those off, just off the tips.
Well, you'd push them back. Well, yeah, but like you just push them back through, and it'd be fine. But it was annoying, and I hated it. And I got so excited when I started getting bamboo pillows when I was a kid because those are plush.
Bamboo?
Yeah, it was
Huh.
like shredded bamboo fiber.
I would like to find more of those because I know that we have another type of plant fiber that's inside that one pillow that you have.
Yeah,
but
the avocado one.
yeah, everything else, well, it's not made out of avocados though. It's some kind of other very fibrous tree from probably Africa or something. But a lot of the other ones are polyester and the fake fills and
Yeah.
eh.
Yeah, that's the
Plastic.
other thing. Apart from meat that we're trying to stay away from, we are really trying to cut down on plastic fibers.
Yep. So all the clothes have to be like linen or cotton,
Yep.
things like that. At least new stuff that we acquire. But it's difficult. I mean, there are things like raincoats that you'll always have to
Yeah.
have nylons and
But
other
like
things.
my shirt, underwear, bedding, we can swap that out.
Oh, the bedding though? I think ours ends up having alpaca fluff in it because the cotton one was apparently too flammable, but they gave us an alpaca one. It was like a recall or
It smelled
something.
kind of funky for a little while.
It
but
did
now I don't.
smell like a farm.
Yeah.
For a little while, I think it stopped smelling. But
Or we got used to it. Hard to tell.
okay, good thing neither of us are allergic to wool
Yep.
because that would have been a problem. Alpacas are very cute, by the way.
Yep.
If you have a nearby alpaca farm that lets you feed them or interact with them or something.
They're fuzzy little dorks.
Yeah, they're I think they're a little bit more amicable than llamas are. And smaller too. You stumble out of the feathered passage to find a room filled with preserved dinosaur parts. A box lies on the floor with large, jagged letters carved into its otherwise mundane surface. The Great Reaper. You pick it up with an appropriate sense of respect and dread.
Harvest the entire board.
Ooh.
Wow, that was it.
No, okay.
Wow. I guess they needed a background for it. So they do not explain the Rex. They don't need to explain the Rex. All right. Well, there's more paths to explore down this, actually, which kind of baffles me a little bit.
Mhm. Oh,
Ah.
there's still so much to explore.
Yeah.
But at this point, what are the major... So you've been awakened.
Yeah.
What were the branches that need awakened?
We just did it.
We just did it.
That was
it?
the one. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Oh, the thief hands. Did you actually get that
no, we
skill
don't
from
have thief
stealing the
hands
book?
yet.
Oh.
We have 30 HP, but ideally we want to get up to 35,
You have to get 35.
40.
Yeah.
Because there's one that requires more than 30 HP, one that requires more than 40. I think this is 30 HP, but I could be wrong.
There was the 35, which was going into the pit, right?
Yeah. Which pit?
I think it wasn't the one in the attic, was it?
I don't remember. We'll have to toy around with some of these later. I'm hoping I can get some more combat abilities just so I can punch broccoli better. But that's going to take some effort. Either way. Yeah, we've made some progress. I mean, we can take a look. If we check inventory, it shows all of the perks we've got. So we're still
Oh.
working on developing calf injury, coward, bad ideas, and feral. Which I'm surprised we haven't found the book to Hork yet, because I found it super fast last time. But it was like in a hallway. So I don't know. Maybe they moved it. Maybe it's still there. We will see. But we're going to leave it here for the stream. As I promised Shell, we'd only go for about 3 hours, and that's what we've done.
Yeah, that's about the point where our voices start to give out a little bit.
I'm just getting really hungry is my real
hungry,
answer.
thirsty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got some more hammer minis to finally assemble. So
Yes.
Shell, we've had it on the table for a couple of days, but I haven't had the free time to record us opening them, and that'll be going up as like a member's Patreon thing.
I had specifically been admiring the Sylvaneth set from the fantasy like Age of Sigmar.
And I've been pigeonholed into Stormcast, I guess.
Well,
Anyway.
it's because we got the combo set
We got
that was on
too many.
sale, and it was nice. And hey, you like paladins?
It's
you're,
true.
You're a paladin
It's
kind
true.
of guy.
All right. Well, anyway, have a lovely rest of your evening, everybody. We will try and stream more of this sometime this week, this next weekend, kind of whenever. Stream schedules are going to be pretty random for a little while yet, but I will announce them on Discord at least like hopefully half an hour in advance. And for people that usually watch our Sunday multiplayer streams, that will be starting back up again next Sunday. The reason why I didn't this week was because we were going to play V Rising, and then it was like, oh, the new update drops tomorrow and is incompatible with all new saves, and so or incompatible with old saves, so I have to start
You're
over.
making
It's
my
like,
mouth flap. Stop that.
No.
You're so loud.
remote control. But yeah, just didn't want to waste our time and have to replay everything next week too. Either way, for now though, have a lovely evening. See you guys around. Bye bye.
Bye bye.